sequel.
There will at least be a sequel and maybe 2 or 3 after that.
Trilogy.
Well, I'm guaranteeing a trilogy.
Okay.
Because Joe's reliable like that. So let's go on over to Learn to Trade.
Did he say trilogy? He did not. See? So now you're
doing it now. He
There
just
we
said he
go.
answers
There
to the
we
people.
go.
He's doing a trilogy now. Go get him, boys. We'll be back at 2
I
o'clock
like this guy.
for the Fed. We'll actually probably be on a few minutes early.
Probably not. Probably yes, actually.
Usually we do.
Yeah, 45.
50.
Forgot about
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to How to Trade. It's your boy, Joey O, and I'm here with the people's champ, the one and only Obi.
What's going on, guys? How's everything going? How's your morning been?
Man, it's been an electric morning. I know you've been killing it as well, too.
I mean, we made some good decisions, let's say that.
That's what it's all
They can
about.
always be a little bit better, but it was solid trading off the open there. Again, day 2 elections. Oh boy,
Man.
We've had some crazy volatility. 2.5% gap up yesterday on the markets. I was like, what is this outlier craziness? But yeah, no, we're getting some continuation on a lot of names today.
Well, no, exactly that. And the options market had in about a 2.5% expected move after the election. So we came in right around that, and Obi's right. We had an absolute monstrous day. The floor has been absolutely rocking the past couple of days. So it's been some great stuff. Guys, we're going to talk some options shortly, but Obi is...
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah. First, we're going to introduce everybody in the chat. So let's see who we got here. We got Tiru. Hi. Kayla Mando. What's up? Tesla 330. Soon. Obi Bonkilla. Yeah, let's see. Who else we got? Hey, Davis. What's going on, brother? E. Lemon Musk. My guy. What's up? Yeah, we like it. Nicholas. Pitch Bull. The Piper. We see you in here all the time, my guy. Julie Backworth. Ravi Fernandez. Bonkzilla again. Darwin, let's go. And where's all my other people? Where are you? Darius Golden. But Obi, show them what you killed today.
I wouldn't say killed, but like we made some decisions off on lift. Got a little lift on lift as the bid kind of started to step up there, just over pre-market lows. It got a little bit nicer when it started pushing past some of these pre-market levels, and then pre-market highs as well through the 18. That was real nice, and a little bit of a dissipation of the bid as we pushed into 18.5. So I pieced off of most of that there. We did get up to 18.8s. Didn't quite hold anything for up there, but I think I'm content with the decision making. And of course, we can definitely improve on certain parts, but we're going to be doing that in the review later tonight. Amazon as well. Oh boy, yesterday was a little bit of a, I guess, I did not trade it to the best of my abilities, I would say, yesterday when that Bezos bid lifted. Again, we observed that Bezos bid over and over again. And again, shout out to Neil. He was just like, the trade is to get short with the unusual seller until that seller lifts. And yesterday was the day that seller lifted. And I guess the long definitely came in, long and strong. And look at this continuation coming into today as well. Something interesting to note as well, Joe, was that the closing imbalance, it ripped up to fresh day highs and closed above the day high consolidation above 206s, and we open up with a dip into 207s for a push past 210s right off of the open. Absolutely beautiful action here on Amazon. Day 2 continuation. Again, not earnings, elections. And the Bezos bid lifting as well. So some beautiful opportunities. Again, markets, all-time highs. 21,000. Hello, what's up?
Yeah, near and dear, absolutely all-time highs here on the Qs. It was lagging the SPY, and I'm like, it's only a matter of time, and that's exactly what we needed. So it wasn't much for the fire to get lit up under the Qs, and it breached, filled in some daily gaps, and then made some all-time highs. So that's something that we're really looking forward to, guys. But before, we're gonna hop right into the lesson here. We're doing introduction to options today, guys. So if you missed it, then here we are again. And then tomorrow we're gonna do part 2 as well too. So make sure you guys stay tuned. We're gonna get into the lesson of the day, and then we're gonna talk some more stock with Obi and I, all right, guys? So buckle up, get your pens and papers, and be prepared to take some notes for today's lesson. So let's get right into it, guys, all right? So this is just the basic stuff that we're gonna be going over today. We have options basics, the benefits and capital requirements, what exercise and assignment are, rights and obligations, all right? And then we're gonna get into some fancy terminology with intrinsic and extrinsic value and how to calculate these values, all right, guys? So let's get it started. So what are options? as you guys are all familiar, a lot of traders like to trade options and utilize them for different meanings. So we're going to get into the basics of it, and then hopefully you can lead yourself into trading options as well too, all right? So options are a financial instrument that give the owner the right to buy or sell an underlying asset at a fixed price. You can trade options on individual stocks, ETFs, and indexes. Very simple. There are two forms of option types: call options for long bias trades and put options for short bias trades, all right? So these are the two vehicles that we're going to use. It's almost the same as buying long equities and short equities in calls and puts, all right? So when buying a call option, you are looking for the underlying asset to move higher in price. Very simple, as I just used the example of the exact same as equities or securities, is that when you buy a call, you are looking for that underlying asset to appreciate in price, all right? So when buying a put option, you are looking for the underlying asset to move lower in price. So it's the exact same thing as shorting. When you buy a put option, you're looking for the underlying asset to decrease as you would from an equity standpoint, all right? So moving on, those are just the basic fundamentals of what they are. And this is an options chart here, guys. This is a basic call option of Apple. And you say, oh, well, why is it valued at $1.48? Well, that's how options contracts are priced. So you really want to times that number by 100, because if it was $1.48, everybody would be buying them. But even so, when you buy this call option, it is significantly cheaper than outright buying equities, but there's obviously a catch that we will soon get into, all right? So this is just the basic charting of a call option, and as you've seen, and as you see here, it is very liquid. So when you do your own due diligence and you start going through equities and going through their options charting, you're gonna see some are a little more liquid than others, all right? So this is a basic call option chart. So moving forward, this is a put option chart. Exact same thing, very liquid, and when you scroll through other options, some aren't as liquid as well, but they're valued at extremely lower. But there's specific reasons why this is valued really low, is because the market may be bullish on the underlying asset, all right? So just keep in mind, these are just basic, simple options charting. They look identical to the underlying asset, rightfully so, but they have slight differences, all right? So just keep that in mind, guys. We have that. Moving forward, so all contracts have these three characteristics, all right? This is what options will all have. Every single options contract will have these same characteristics. So we have a leverage multiplier, all right, an expiry date, and a strike price. All these three characteristics you will find in every options contract, all right? So one options contract equals 100 shares of stock. So one contract, 100 shares. Very simple. All options contracts will have a fixed price called a strike price in which you want to acquire the underlying asset. So once you start messing around on the options chain, you're going to see that there are different select strike prices that you can choose, which we'll get more into later. But first, you need to know what they are, all right? So you can select an expiry date on all options contracts ranging from 0 DTE to multiple years, also known as leaps, all right? So when you have something that is dated with an expiry a couple years away, these are classified as leaps, okay, guys? So moving forward, benefits and capital requirements. So this is something that really draws traders to trading options, all right? So they can leverage their positions because there's less capital requirements, all right? There are multiple benefits to trading options. One, as I just mentioned, capital requirements, ability to hedge stock positions, and multiple strategies to employ, and we'll touch on strategies briefly, all right? So, example, 100 shares of Apple at $227 will cost you $22,700. Pretty expensive, all right? So, one Apple call option with 354 days to expiry can cost you as little as $2,700, all right? So keep this in mind, guys. When I say that there's a significant price decrease in owning the contracts, keep in mind you don't necessarily own those shares. You only have the rights to those shares, all right? And options contracts expire. So we're going to touch more on this, but you can see how you can leverage positions by buying call options opposed to just buying flat out equities, all right? So one, One Apple 225 put option with 354 days to expiry can cost you as little as $1,700. Again, you don't own those shares outright. You're not shorting them outright. You have the right to Apple at $225 for that price. That means you still need the underlying asset to depreciate in price in order to be profitable on that trade. But still, you can see the leverage that you can get from using these vehicles, all right? So, exercise and assignment, we're going to touch a little bit more. We're going to get into Obi, see what he's cooking up over there, and then we'll get right back into the lesson, guys. So hopefully you followed around there and see what you got. You took some notes and are prepared for the second half. What do you got going on there, my friend?
Thank you, Joe, for that.
Yep.
Solid introduction to options lesson there, but it's not even over just yet. I'm just watching the market here. We're finally getting a bit of a pullback here on the ES. The first prior bar low break. First red candle coming in. How much time is left for this 15-minute candle to print? I am seeing about 3 minutes and 20 seconds. You can see that hard flush coming in, so things are starting to pull back a little bit here. I am kind of watching some of these tech names here. Intel quite strong here. ARM, we saw that they had earnings today. 154.58 is the high of day right now as this market pushes to the upside there. TQs as well doing quite well. SMCI day 2 earnings showing us a little bit of that strength as well. So I'm waiting for Tesla as well. You guys can see I got that Tesla open up here on the left-hand side. Let me just pull up the tape for you guys here. TSLA right there. So yeah, it's knocking on the door of that 298.35 is the high right now, but we're looking for that 300. Let's see if that 300 can potentially come in with the market looking hella strong today. Now again, with that with the Trump win yesterday, we saw the aggressive bid coming in at 4 a.m. here on Tesla, pushing all the way up to 290s right there, and then that 290 break. Oh boy, there were definitely some players on that 290 coming in. I think there was over a few thousand lots right there, and then it just breaks, and we saw the break instantly. 1 point in the money right there. 291s were printing off of the break of 290 after that size got taken out. So absolutely beautiful. Now we're consolidating tightly in the upper quartile just underneath this 298 area here. So I'm going to be watching this to see if this can give us that 300. The market's on a bit of a pullback here, Joe. So might have to pack our patience a little bit for that level to come in here. But this Amazon reversion, oh boy, I was like, all right, well, I was getting up from my desk here and I was like, oh boy, that 212 break, that 211.70s, I want to take it down into VWAP. And I'm like, all right, whatever, next trade, I missed that. The selling comes in quite aggressively here, but a bit of a support here at that 210 halves. Gives us a pop off of a bid that comes in just hovering above that VWAP. But take a look at this nice little pullback. To get involved for a quick scalp back down into VWAP. Let's see if those 210 half bidders are still there. As of right now, Joe, they're still holding that 210, 60, 70. So it seems like they're holding firm as of right now on Amazon with the market pulling back. But we shall see. AMD, oh boy, okay, so we're breaking some structure there on AMD. So like I said, I'm watching some of these tech names as well. So take a look at AMD. I kind of want to cover some of this as well while I'm talking about that. So AMD pulling back into VWAP. You can see the morning momentum definitely a little bit dissipated. 149 halves is the high of day. Didn't quite get to 150 there, Joe. So we're still kind of waiting on some of these levels to come in on a lot of these large cap names. Let's see if this market tailwind can give us any sort of oomph to the upside. We are trading above 21,000 finally, and we are trading close to 6,000 on the ES. These are some great times, man.
Yeah, absolutely,
What do you got going on?
absolutely fantastic times. I mean, everybody's having a great time here on the floor trading. And I'm just looking over here at ARM, my friend. We're slowly pulling back, as you would like to call it. We reverted back to VWAP, and I'm looking for an entry in and around VWAP. It's kind of looking like I might have missed it around 150s or 149s, but I think that we can still pull back. The volume is slightly dwindling, but what an absolute monstrous run that this stock has been on. It reported last night, price targets have been raised. It had a double beat, so this stock is absolutely on fire, and we're going to continue to look to join this momentum to the top side, right? So guys, for the first hour of the session, it didn't put in a red candle. And one thing that I always point out is the correlation between price and volume. And what I like to see here is that on these pullbacks, the volume is dwindling and we have nice, steady, consistent volume as we appreciate in price. So I'm going to look to get into ARM if it can pull back a little bit more and we can test VWAP, or if we fail to break this low here, then I'm definitely going to get into a position on that as well. I really like where NVDA is sitting. We are right at VWAP. It is up about 1.4% on the session. It's put in absolutely a couple monstrous days after I mentioned that the previous break of all-time highs was a little bit choppy, and I wasn't too favorable of it. I'm like, I would like to see all-time high breaks a little bit more clean and more conviction within the trade. But as we're sitting here, I really like NVDA for continuation and a possible second leg to the top side as we hold 147.62s. But I'm not going to enter just yet, guys, because I still think there's a little bit more to phase out and maybe a little bit more liquidity to grab and potentially pull back slightly more. But I do like what I'm seeing from a volume standpoint on this as well, even though we are pushing higher. And if we break this 147.80, then I might have to join this. My entry won't be as precise, so I'll give it a little bit of room. But a second leg here on NVIDIA, I'm really, really liking. I think the semis are a little bit strong. Sorry, guys, I just got to refresh my page here. The semis have been absolutely strong today, so we're happy about that. The overall market has been just absolutely terrific, and we're going to look to see what sectors are performing at its best right now. And I wonder, Obi, can you guess what sector is number one right now?
If I were to take a guess,
Take a guess.
I might say tech.
Tech, consumer discretionary. We got Tesla and Amazon leading the way, pretty much. Real estate in second place, and then the tech sector up 1.13% in third place on the day, my friend.
Third place,
yeah,
right?
Third place, but still close. Hey, first, second, third. If you're at the track, we got the place on real estate as well too. So, guys, in last place we have the financials down about 1.3% on the session. We know that JPM put in an absolute monstrous day yesterday, or the day before. So a little bit of a pullback on the financial sector, and in second last we have the energies, and then third last we have the industrial, guys. And it's really unfortunate right now, Obi, NVDA is kind of taking off without me, so we're going to have to wait for a little bit of a pullback to see where we can get in, my friend. What do you got going on?
Not without you, bro.
Hey.
I mean, we're getting a little bit of a pullback here, but yeah, a hold of that. What is that? Just above that 147.30. It would seem like. But yeah, the market's holding. Again, we're trading above 21,100 on the Nasdaq there as well. So we got to keep an eye on that. We are trending quite nicely. We are in a trending market here. Thanks for Ramin for pointing out that we do have a super chat that we kind of missed. So shout out to Kyle Burdett for the super chat. He says, sorry to hear about Sharif's injury. Cutting your lip when you're trimming your cornstar stash is beautiful. Is brutal. Sorry. I'm sure he gets. I sure hope he gets fixed up soon so he can get back here and smack asks with us again soon. Yes, Kyle Burdett. He will be back soon enough. I think he'll be back. He'll be back on Monday. And hopefully he's feeling much better there.
You just have to watch out with Kyle. You have to
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's nothing about that. Yeah. You never know because I've read them. You never know with that guy.
Fair enough. I gotta watch for you, Colin.
Yeah.
No, thank you for that super chat here. Market's taking a little bit of a breather here as that bid starts to kind of step off a little bit. It is 11:20 right now. So yeah, that morning momentum taking a little bit of a pause. You can see that some of these tickers that were quite aggressively strong off of the open are going a little bit sideways. Amazon here, I got Tesla, watching some other ones here as well. NVIDIA getting a little sideways. But there is one, Joe, there is one that is the alpha who is still running. And that alpha is Google right here. So Alphabet pushing to the upside, 179.37. So it is pushing some fresh highs on the day, looking a little, not necessarily distinctly different, but a little bit different from the rest of the market here. We were asking yesterday, where is Apple while the rest of the tech sector kind of runs up? Apple kind of was quite muted there while a lot of other things were just running to the upside. And today, Apple coming in with a little bit of strength here. Haven't really broken too far past yesterday's range right here. Yesterday's high being at 226s. We're trading at 226s. flat just now, but we're consolidating nicely above VWAP after a strong opening drive that pushed through that 225 level, and we're holding above all those prices here on Apple as the NASDAQ holds its highs as well. So I'm just waiting for the next trade. Let me know in the chat. Let us know in the chat what you guys are trading. What is the next trade? That's what I'm asking. I'm waiting and watching. I'm patiently kind of just assessing. I don't have eyes on the whole market, so that's why we may need your help here in the chat. So people talking about Palantir. Yes, shout out to Palantir. I know that Sean was just talking about Palantir, and Palantir curling. Nice little curl. Look at that beautiful reversion to the reversion of the reversion. So opening drive fails to follow through, flushes down. Look at that, straight bars to the downside, holds 53 halves on the bid, bit of a lick grab, and then we get going for the reversion to VWAP up there. So if you were playing the reversion on the trend break, oh boy, definitely stopping some of those players out there and then ripping up. So maybe you want to be a little bit patient for that. That's what that price action is showing me, but that's in retrospect as of right now. 211 is coming back in here on the Amazon. So let me stay a little bit nimble with that one. I'll get out of that one and reassess a little bit later. We are on top of VWAP, and I do want to respect the bid there. And if we get a little bit lower and break below these 210s, break below VWAP, maybe we'll look for those pops to get involved with if the reversion is going to revert some more. But don't want to necessarily be fighting this action on the day today. Lyft, oh boy, Lyft is coming right back in here. So I guess the ride is over for this one as it pulls right back in. So let's take a quick look at that one right here. So yeah, that strong momentum off of the open. Look at that break back through VWAP, man. So we build the structure, we build a little bit of this flag. You were talking about, it's building a flag off of this view up here, but take a look at what happens when that flag breaks down. It kind of reminds me of Mark Douglas when he was like, patterns, chart patterns. We're always like, flag patterns is a bullish pattern. Well, not necessarily. What he says is patterns will repeat. What they result in definitely is random there in the market. So we got that little bit of a flag, but that breakdown back below VWAP and it's aggressive selling right back down. We're trading at 18s, below 18s right now, but this could be interesting. Pre-market highs and consolidation highs as well. I got some of these on watch. Pre-market lows as well. Opening range low just at that 17.5. And look at this earnings anchored right here. We keep talking about that anchored VWAP. Shout out to Mr. Shannon there. And look at that anchored coming in right off of the open, dips right into that anchored VWAP and then pulls right back up, holding on the bid. If you were watching the tape here, some reserves on the bid stepping up, some buyers stepping up as well for the push up into pre-market highs. And that bid does not calm down. That bid kept on pushing into 18s and 18 halves before that bid started to dissipate. So absolutely beautiful price action here on Lyft. Now, another name that I definitely missed, and I was talking to Wayne about this one as well. Shout out to Wayne for pointing this name out in the morning to me. I did not have any fills on it, but oh boy, this one was a banger, kind of giving you that opportunity. Similar kind of idea here. Opening range break out there. Pre-market high break. App goes from 224s in the pre-market, 225s. Pre-market high break, guys, is at 234, so 235-ish. It hits a high of 257, Joe. So absolutely wild action there. So if you wanted points on the board, App lovin' definitely gave you some of that love in there on that opening drive there. So a lot of opportunities this morning. Let us know in the chat what you guys have been trading. But before that, what's going on, Adara?
Lots of sectors here. We're going to take a look at some of these names making big moves to the upside and the downside in the S&P 500. I would like to have a bit of a theme for this segment, so we're going to take a look at names in sectors that are making larger moves. So you can get a couple of different trading opportunities. First, we're going to start here with EL, Estee Lauder in the S&P 500, but this is a sympathy play as well with ELF and RL. Two other names you could check out. RL with a bit less volume, but basically ELF and Ralph Lauren both reporting this morning. EL here, Estee Lauder up about 6% today in sympathy with those earnings reports. Then we have JPM down about 4%. Wells Fargo also down pretty significantly. BRKB getting hit pretty hard. This whole sector taking a pullback after yesterday's massive rally with a lot of these names, including JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, all up over 10% after Donald Trump's election. Looks like a pullback, but JPM getting hit especially hard here after Baird downgraded them to a sell. Now, last but not least, here we have Vistra, VST. This one up over 10% today after earnings, beating their sales estimates here pretty heartily for Q3, $6.2 billion versus $5 billion expected. This whole sector, including CEG and NRG, also trading higher in sympathy, guys.
Well, yeah, great stuff from Adara. We have a couple people in chat. So Microsoft deep in the gap. I'm in some 11:15 expire on the 15th 440 calls. Absolutely magnificent because I'm looking over here at Microsoft right now, and this thing is absolutely monstrous. You know I'm a gap fill type player, so if you're in at these with the 440s, you bought some extrinsically valuable contract, which is fantastic, and you're going to gain some value in those because this gap is absolutely beautiful, and I missed it. But one gap I did not miss, Obi, and that was the Qs. So we'll pull up the Qs here briefly, and I was fortunate enough to get in the after hours to play this and play this gap fill, and then the market continuing to the top side, but I am out of that one for sure. So guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Come on, if you're liking the content, if you like Obi's analysis, if you like the lesson of the day, make sure you like and subscribe. So that's it, it's simple. Click, like, click, subscribe. Yeah, and even if you don't like it, says Ram, just subscribe to see if you do end up liking it. And I'm sure you will, because we got some star-studded cast here. These are unreal traders. We have Obi, we got Sean, we got Neil. This is a superstar, absolute all-star team. So that is, oh, I know about it. I know about it. But guys, I'm over here still looking at NVIDIA. The market's momentum has slowed down a little bit, as Obi mentioned. I am waiting for a little bit of a pullback here on NVDA to see if we can continue and take that second leg higher. I was right. If I got in around 47.70s, then I could maybe be in this trade. But one thing I don't like about it is my risk to reward on that. I'm going to risk low of this pivot low here, and that just is a little bit too wide. So if I can get in a price around 147.60s with a little bit of a pullback coming in here on the market, then I will be happy with that one. But as of right now, it's just starting to crawl higher and higher, and I expected that. The all-time high break on NVDA wasn't as clean as I was anticipating or expected, but now it is much cleaner. Putting in back-to-back monster days, especially after the election, it's just moving higher, and I'm glad that it's moving higher because I mentioned this before on a previous show. In order for this market to continue higher, we need these big boys to participate, all right? So market breadth can only take you so far. You need the large weighted boys to get involved in order to continue this move higher. So with the Trump victory, a lot of analysts say, hey, this is great for the market. You're going to get some tax deductions and some tax leeway there, so that can fuel more into the market. So as you can see, we had absolutely monstrous days previously. So dear Ollie, Joe, did you get into the trade Qs? So I just mentioned my Qs trade from before. I played that gap fill. I am looking at this CrowdStrike. I know Adara likes CrowdStrike, so we're keeping our eye on CrowdStrike as well too, because we have entered the gap as well there. So I'm just sitting here, Obi, I'm just sitting here waiting for NVDA to pull in a little bit more so then I can take an entry on it, because everything as of right now seems slightly extended, my friend. But what's not extended is DJT, the winner of the election, the victor, down 20.73% on the session. Wow, oh boy is right.
Sell the news event.
Talk about sell the news event. The man who won is down 20.9% on the session. So guys, NVDA is continuing to go a little bit higher. I may want to take a little bit of this possible pullback on IBIT as well too. We did make all-time highs not too long ago, so we're going to look for the continuation and strength in that as well. So if we pull in just south of 43, I'm definitely going to look to wet my beak in that one as well too. What are you cooking up there, my guy?
Nothing much here. Ramin reminded me that today we got a goal for the midday, guys. So we got a bit of a goal for the midday. If you guys can see right here, if you guys want me on the afternoon recap with Sean, we're looking for super chats here, 30 of them. 30. So if we can get 30, you may or may not see me on the afternoon recap. So let's see if we can hit that goal today. We got 1 out of 30 so far. So I think that one was Kyle Burdett. So let's see how we do. We got 2 hours and 25 minutes. So we shall wait and see. And let's see what the people say here. But yeah, no, you're right. Market's kind of slowing down, but there are a few names, Joe, that are not slowing down at all. And Tesla's definitely one of them. And I'm looking at Softy as well. Take a look at this. Microsoft super, super strong. Again, shout out to the chat. You guys pointed this one out, and I was like, oh boy, I'm not even watching that one. Hella strong to the upside there. And again, Google was the other one. We were talking about this one, showing us a little bit of that action there, pulling back off of 179 halves as of right now. So a lot of these large caps definitely to the upside here. Tesla, I'm still waiting, man. We're trading sideways. Yes, we did break that trend, but the trend did not revert just yet. We've broken trend, but we're pushing sideways. So no real reversion happening as of right now. Okay, Nick W with the super chat saying, let's go, Obi. Thoughts on NET? Let's take a quick look at net here. Cloudflare, see what our friend Cloudflare is up to right here. So not really too much of a flare here in this price action. We did bid up quite aggressively yesterday into the close, but today a little bit of a sideways action, so maybe some consolidation before the next leg up. Let's take a quick look at a 15-minute chart here as well and go up on the time frames, just taking a look at what our friend Cloudflare has been doing. What is this action right here? Maybe some catalyst here. Definitely doing some relative volume on this day as well. Thursday, October 10th. We've been kind of consolidating, pulled back into those lows where that bid came up from, apparently, at that 86. And look at this push back up. All-day bid yesterday, and we're getting a little bit more of the same today. Kind of choppy, though. Still within the opening range is where we've been trading all day. Look at that opening range. This is a 15-minute these are 15-minute candles. That first 15-minute candle, opening range low at 94 and change, and the high sitting at 96 as we're trading at 95 halves. A little bit of a sideways action there. Definitely, if you're looking for momentum, there are a lot of names on the board today that are pushing pretty aggressively. So let us know in the chat what you guys are trading. Again, SMCI, day 2 earnings, pushing for that 25 mark as well. So SMCI on watch. Look at how strong this one is. We did pull back aggressively off of that earnings, and we know that we've been having some bad news there. They had some I guess what was it? Fraudulent shenanigans that they got sold off on. SEC is knocking on the door of this one there. 2020 is the consolidation low post earnings there. So it didn't quite sell off. It didn't sell off a lot more off of that earnings day one low just yet, and we're ticking right back up into those 25. Let's see if some of this prior support here at that 25-26 area turns into resistance today, trading at 24.71s as of right now. Wow, TQ is about to push highs, man.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft is absolutely ripping. We're looking at Microsoft here as well,
here
too,
goes
guys.
Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla's moving higher. Obi and I said 300 earlier in the day when we were talking back there at our desk. We're like, it's only a matter of time until Tesla has a 3 in front of it, and I think that's going to be before the end of the day. Absolutely, trading around 298, just under 299. Just under 299 bucks. We got some NVDA going on right now, guys. We're gonna take a little bit off the top here, but first we're gonna go to Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience. Firefly Neuroscience has taken a bold step in advancing brain health technology. In collaboration with Bright Minds Biosciences, Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform has successfully analyzed data from a groundbreaking phase 1 clinical trial using advanced EEG technology to track brain activity. This data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of brain health innovation. As they prepare for phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments. Firefly Neuroscience, shaping the future of brain health.
Cool. Yo. Thank you, Fabian.
That's Fabian. So, yeah, I mean, guys, Kendall Lopez, Joe W. got crowd call options with a strike price of 305, looking bullish on the daily and weekly. What are your thoughts? Well, I will give you my 2 cents right now, my friend, because I absolutely love CrowdStrike. I'm holding a position myself, looking to play this gap. I really like this gap fill. We have breached it, added some size at the breach of the gap, and then we're going to look to play the low of that gap down day. So I am bullish on CrowdStrike. They report, I think next week or within a couple of days, they report. So just be wary. Don't hold on to if you want to hold on to those options, just be aware that we do have an earnings report and you are going to have to expect volatility in that term. So I am looking forward to filling this gap here on CrowdStrike because I like CrowdStrike, and I've had this pointed out for a while, guys. So keep in mind, an eye out on CrowdStrike for that gap fill. I know someone mentioned Microsoft as well too, which we really like as well. So it's still trading higher, making new highs of days, up about 1.35% on the session. And then we have Tesla up a whopping 3.4% on the day. And then IBIT, we're still negative on IBIT somehow, Obi. I don't know. We're down 0.5% on the session. But I'm looking for that to recover really quickly, as we just made all-time highs yesterday, and we broke that with conviction. That is something that I would be looking at, and I want to see those breaks with high conviction. You've seen the candle that it put in yesterday. You had the momentum. Look to break through with that momentum, and that's what we did. We had the ability to take advantage of that too. So that is that. Look, Obi, I got some trades to manage. What are you cooking up there, my guy?
No, I'm just looking at this this super chat here from Volcan. Thank you, Volcan, for the super chat right here. AVGO and Meta, please. All right. And we got Chris Green as well coming in. Go hard or go home. Let's go. I like that. All right. So we can check. Thank you both for that super chat, Chris and Volcan. We can check some AVGO and some Meta as of right now. So let's take a quick look here on that one. All right. So I did. Okay. So I did get stopped out of this Tesla here real quick, but I do want to kind of get back in and put that wrist back on right here. Let me just let's see if that cooks right there. So let's take a look at AVGO while that Tesla looks like it's getting a little charged up for that 300 push right here. So AVGO, let's take a look at this one. We know that tech is moving. You said they're third sector that's leading, number 3, right?
That's correct.
This morning. So yeah, AVGO, nice little VWAP hold. It would seem. Look at this. This blue line is VWAP here. Yesterday, a bit of a chip chop action there, just trading within that opening range. Coming in today, stepping up above that, trading above 181 halves in that pre-market. Look at that imbalance. The opening imbalance holds that 181 halves, and then we grind to the upside there with that VWAP hold. A pullback in during the midday session here as well, holding that VWAP once again. So it seems like VWAP buyers are kind of there since the open here on AVGO. Let's see if that kind of continues going forward into the end of the day. 184.87 is the high, just underneath that 185. Are these all-time highs for AVGO? No, they are not. All-time highs coming in at that 186.42. So just shy, just about a point and a half shy of that all-time high here on AVGO there. And then Meta as well. I know I got eyes on Meta as well. Take a look at this beautiful action there. Look at that. We talk about a V-shaped recovery. This V-shaped recovery just kept on going there. I guess in and around COVID. We had the drop here in March. We made a high up towards almost 400, pulls back all the way to 87. Oh boy. And we came all the way back. Look at that V shape right there and that aggressive bid. Look at that squeeze. I don't know if it's a squeeze or not, but that breakout of that 400 gives you almost 500 within the next couple of months right there. We're trading at 591s here on Meta today, and hella strong on the day as well. As look at that. Can't even get down to VWAP there. It can't even get to VWAP. So those buyers are hella strong right off of the open. Look at this momentum that comes in, the grind up in the pre-market, pushing that 575 level for some fresh highs here. 585s is VWAP, 585.92s, and the pullback in the morning session right here, we were consolidating underneath that 588 level right here, making higher lows, and that break of that high. Look at this pullback again, that resistance turning into support over the past half hour or the past hour or so. You can see that low made around 11 o'clock right there, holding above that prior structure at that 588, pushing for some fresh highs. Do we see 600 today on Meta? I have no idea, but oh boy, are we kind of poised for some strong action today here. So let me see. Did we get another super chat here?
Oh,
yes,
we got a lot of super.
They
want to see you on the afternoon rundown, my guy. So
for sure.
Yeah.
So Nick W. Let's go through these one by one. How about this? I'll take Nick W. and you can take Kenan or Keenan. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Okay. Okay, you know what? One for Joe W. This one's actually for you.
For me.
Datadog.
Datadog. All right, dude, read your
Nick
super
W.
chats, and then we're going to dig into
right.
Datadog right after that. You have calls for it, Nick W? We're going to let Obi do a super chat, and then we're going to talk some Datadog.
Yeah, so I guess I'll take a look at DJT right here. So DJT, Kenan is asking for DJT. Let's take a look at DJT here. I did borrow some shares this morning and then didn't really look back at it. So let's see. Oh, boy.
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
All right. Okay. Deep breaths. Woosah. rejection of pre-market consolidation highs, continuation trade on the bigger picture. We saw that day one was yesterday. We sold off opening range lows. This was a huge trade. Again, that consolidation, that breakdown, that nice little capitulation in the pre-market session, pulling up all the way to 54. A couple of days ago, we were trading this, and I'm like, oh, this is starting to look like a bit of a squeezy action there. Kind of has that flush coming into what is this? Tuesday night. And look at that, nice little hold of that 32, halt down yesterday, and then consolidates for a nice little fade, and that continuation coming in on the day today, printing lows at 27.90. So nice little flush backside coming in here on DJT. Now taking a look at the higher time frame, just taking a look at some of these levels here on DJT. Let's see where we're sitting on this. So we're still within this consolidation, this chip chop that we've been getting since the beginning of the year here, and that DJT topping out here just underneath some of those prior highs there. You can see that high coming in at that 54.68 and pulling back in. Power bar low breakdown as well. We've been holding for the past, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. We were quite strong on DJT coming into those elections, and we're getting a little bit of a pullback here on DJT. Also, Joe, 299s.
Whoa.
299s on Tesla. We are poised. Let's get ready for that 300.
I told you, I think we're going to get that 300 break there, my friend. I think 300 was totally in the picture, especially after that opening drive. It was absolutely fantastic. So I think it's only a matter of time. We mentioned Danny Ives, our good buddy over at Wedbush, that he said he has a 3 in front of Tesla, but we are going to go to Adara, and then we'll get back, and we're going to do Datadog for Nick W.
Let's go.
We're going to talk about some earnings here, as we usually do every day around 11:40. But before we do that, really quickly, just seeing this note from S&P Global. They have some comments here on the tariffs that Donald Trump has promised in light of his election as of yesterday. S&P Global saying that these tariffs could actually increase U.S. inflation and drag growth. So they say that it's unlikely that Trump will actually be imposing these tariffs of 10% here, the 10% blanket tariff, and then the 60% tariff on Chinese goods. So they actually think that's pretty unlikely. Interesting note there coming from S&P Global. App though, APP app lovin'. What a move here for this one. I know this was mentioned earlier today here, but up about 47%. Coming into though some resistance here at 248, which was a bit of a potential head and shoulders area earlier. The stock kind of rejected. We have to see what we'll do at this level. But so far, reacting positively. Strong guidance here, and also at EPS and sales beat. They also authorized a $2 billion buyback program. So there's a lot to love with App Lovin's report. Then we have Bros here, BROS, getting perked up to the upside here for Dutch Bros, this coffee chain, beating on adjusted earnings per share. They beat on sales, and they actually raised their fiscal 2024 revenue guidance. So there were a lot of reports last night, ARM, Qualcomm, Lyft, but who are two that you might have missed that make big upside moves? Now, what do we have tonight? A slew of reports here. So DraftKings, Arista Networks, Block Inc., Rivian, Affirm, Airbnb, The Trade Desk, Unity, Pinterest, Fortinet, Upstart, Cloudflare, Toast, Lucid, all set to report tonight. We're going to get a few of these here, though. I'm definitely going to be on watch, including DraftKings, reporting expected at 4:15 p.m. They're expecting a loss of 42 cents per share on revenue of $1.12 billion. Affirm could also be one to watch here, negative 36 cents per share expected for earnings per share on $661.39 million in revenue, as well as Rivian coming through at 405, negative 92 cents per share expected for earnings, and then revenue of $970.69 million. You can catch all of that in the market recap with Sean and I, and maybe Obi, depending on who votes, guys, or gets the super chats in.
All right, thank you.
All right,
Adara.
then, yeah, thank you, Adara. So, Obi, we're going to get into some data. 300, boom.
300 Tesla coming in.
Up, Dollar Club for Obi on Tesla. So, congratulations on that one. That's a monstrous one. But, Nick W., we're going to talk a little bit of Datadog, because what I'm reading right now, they had a double beat after their earnings report this morning, which is absolutely fantastic. And you get this pop up around 1:33. So, keep in mind, you have some calls. I need to know a little bit more information when your expiry is, when you bought them, and that specific strike price. So, I mean, it's an absolutely good look on Datadog. I know I know Jimmy Kramer likes it, our good buddy over at Mad Money. Jim Crater likes Datadog. A little bit of choppy price action through here. Not a lot of clean directional movement, but I mean, the longer this consolidates within this range, the bigger the move can potentially be. You have a good earnings report, so maybe this can drive it and help it break through this prior resistance we have sitting around 134.89s. But a good call there. I don't know if you took some profit at that rejection of the 133.97, so we'll call it 134s. So if you took a little bit of profit there on your contract, that's absolutely fantastic as well too. But if you have time until expiry, continue to hold on to this because you have a secondary trend here that can continue to the northeast side there, guys, all right? So good luck there on Datadog, Nick W. I would continue to hold on to those calls, especially after that solid earnings report. That's something you want to look into as well. So keep in mind that when you have these strong reports, if you bought those contracts prior to the earnings, so therefore you probably paid less of a premium, you get the increase in implied volatility, those premiums increase, so you might have just profited. Aside from just the stock appreciating, you get that implied volatility increase as well too. So we're gonna hand it over to you in a second, Obi, but we're in some IBIT that is crawling to the top side, and we're gonna look to continue to see if we can make a new high of day. If it breaks this pivot low around 43.11s, then your boy is out of the trade. What are you cooking up there, my friend, with that monster Tesla trade?
Yeah, I'm just watching this Tesla price action right now. 299s coming in right now. Let's see, market tailwinds definitely there, and you can see the NASDAQ pushing. It's near its highs, and so is the ES here as well. Bit of a pullback coming in here on Amazon, so let's take a quick look at the Mag 7, see what else is pulling back here. A little bit of a Google pullback. Amazon's the only weakest one out of the bunch here. Apple pushing for fresh highs as well. Softy with a little bit of a pullback, but a point off of its highs. And yeah, Tesla 299.67 is the high right now. We're trading at 299.24, so that little last quarter above that 299. And I was just saying, this 300 could be something. I can't really see how much size is sitting there just as of right now. About 800 lots I'm seeing as of right now, but we'll wait. Maybe it'll come, maybe it won't. But when and if that 300 does come, definitely going to be an interesting action there. Softy breaking prior bar low here on the 15-minute chart, so maybe we're poised for a little bit of reversion. We'll see. Amazon's already breaking its consolidation lows right here on top of VWAP there. I think if Amazon gets below VWAP and the futures take a bit of a pullback here and break this structure, maybe we get a little bit of a pullback across these names here. Look at that Softy come in quite aggressively there. As soon as I say that, that prior bar low has not been broken since the opening candle on the 15-minute. So if you are risking prior bar low on the 15-minute on Softy and you managed to find a place to get in, there was no reason to get out until just now when prior bar low broke at a low of 425.38 here, and you can see the market kind of pulling back here as well. Again, Softy being one of the larger constituents in the Mag 7 and the NASDAQ as well. Oh boy, SMCI potentially coming in for that 25 level, 24.95s on SMCI. Let's quickly pull that up and see if there's any size sitting at that 25 level here on SMCI here. So there's about 2,000 lots, just over 2,000 lots sitting at that 25. Now, I don't know if that's any significant size relative to anything else we've traded on the day, but let's see how we deal with that 2,000 lots at that 25 level on SMCI as it comes in. Let me pull it up for you guys here and put that filter on so we can look at it together as that size kind of comes in. Look at that right there, 2,000 lots right here on that 25 level on SMCI. Let's see if that comes in for a break. I'm also watching that 300 on Tesla as it consolidates and holds above that 299. Apple with a fresh high here. Let's go. Alphabet with a fresh high as well. Tesla, can you do it? You are the next one. And look at that Softy reclaiming bar highs after breaking prior bar. That's a bit of a fugazi there. If you're risking that, it kind of grabs that and pulls right back up into that in towards that high a day here. Here comes a 25 on SMCI. Let's see how we deal with that 25 here, Joe. That 25 is going to be interesting if we continue. Day highs as well. We can see that it's been quite strong. A bit of a dip off of the pre-market going into the open, but that VWAP reclaim and that push to the upside here, pushing quite strong. So okay, no, that's not 2,000. That's two books right there. EdgeX and EXP kind of the same there. On the book, I do have a little bit of doubles right there. Let's see if any of this size gets decremented. Let's see if we kind of push through that ask on 25s. A bit of a decrement. Okay, we got 900 lots left on the EdgeX. Let's see. Okay, oh boy, somebody took them out all in one order right there. 2507s printing right now. Not a little bit of a lackluster push here. Didn't really get too far off of that breakout there, but take a look at the NASDAQ. aggressively. Let's see if that 300 comes in here on Tesla, trading the quarters above 299s as of right now. Fresh highs on the NASDAQ, 21,184. Let's see if we can get to 21.2 on the NASDAQ. Some fresh highs coming in here on the ES as well. I think something we need to watch out for on the ES is that 6,000 mark, nice and clean, nice and whole. Let's see if we can get through some of those levels as well. Here we go, a little bit of a pickup on the pace here of aggression on the tape through SMCI. So we did stall a little bit there above the 25. We're holding on the bid as of right now. What do you got going on?
You know what? We got someone in the chat, Obi. Brandon Welsh. Walsh, sorry. IronQ options are insane. Joe, can you please look? I have $10 calls up 550%. Wow, I don't ever want to sell these over a year until expiry. Absolutely printing up a storm. Congratulations on those. Can this thing do NVIDIA type things? Well, as of today, my friend, it absolutely is up 35% on the session, putting in an absolute monstrous session so far. So good luck on those. I mean, if you have so many, you never went broke taking profits. So, hey man, continue to hold on to those. You have an absolute monstrous day. So congratulations on that. The daily is absolutely phenomenal, as I mentioned before, up 35% on the session. So that is exactly what you want to. We had a big breakout. The volume was increasing as price was appreciating here. Then we have the dwindling volume and then just this monster leg up. So the good look on IONQ. I was just reading into what they did because I honestly didn't know too much about them. But IONQ is engaged in quantum computing that delivers high-performance systems capable of solving commercial and research use cases. So, I mean, these guys, from what I'm reading, have an insane quantum computer. So good look on that. IONQ is the play of the day. Yes. This thing is up monstrous and continues to grind higher, Obi. But you know what also continues to grind higher, my friend?
Which one?
IBIT.
Okay.
Bitcoin, we are crawling higher. I'm into this position. Everybody knows that I am bullish on this underlying asset. I am looking for new price discovery within Bitcoin. We broke those all-time highs. We're about, I don't know how many months after that halving cycle, just under a year, but I think that we are going to go into that new phase of price discovery, and a lot of analysts have this thing as a six-figure underlying asset, and I am absolutely looking forward to that, my friend. But what also is creeping higher, as Obi mentioned before, is Apple still holding on to those highs of days, sitting at 1.84% on the session, and Google as well too, looking to push a little bit higher, sitting up about 1.7% on the day. So this has been an absolutely monstrous day, guys. Continue to lock in those gains, continue to lock in those profits, because Obi, you know what's at 2 o'clock, right?
What is that 2 o'clock?
Ooh, the interest rate. Our good buddy JP Jerome Powell.
Telling me the reversion man.
Ooh, yeah.
On his way.
But you know what I mean? The reversion man may be coming out at 2 o'clock.
Let's go.
Okay, so there we go. JP
like
dunking on everybody. So we're going to have to wait and see, guys. With Jerome Powell comes an increase in volatility. So just be wary. Make sure you have those stops in places. Make sure you have, if you're using options as a vehicle, make sure you have stops as well, because that increase in implied volatility can give you some IV crush, especially if you're not in the money and the market does decide to dump. So just be wary of that. Lock in some gains. Get those risk measures in place, because at 2 o'clock, Obi, we're going to have some more volatility in this market that is already going crazy.
Oh boy, thank you for pointing out that IONQ, man. I had it on watch this morning, and I'm like, all right, I want to take the reversion on this one, and oh boy, this one is definitely setting up for a potential reversion back down into VWAP. But again, we got to wait for that bid to dissipate. You got to watch the tape. You got to see that distinctly different action of that bid kind of stepping down. Where are the buyers gone? I have no idea, but it's so far, it doesn't seem like any sign of them leaving as of right now. As you look at that 15-minute prior bar hold since the open there on IONQ. Now, something I do want to point out, guys, is that I know this happened yesterday, and now some people knew about it, some people maybe not, but NVIDIA is the top constituent now in both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. A little bit closer to Apple on the NASDAQ, just a couple decimals away from Apple, but take a look at this. Definitely, again, these are weighted companies, weighted ETFs here, and NVIDIA taking the lead past that Apple, really signifying the era that we are living in right now it is definitely AI driven. And again, company that is selling the shovels is taking the top of the market right now. 299.60s coming in here on Tesla. Let's see if we can break some fresh highs there into that 300. IONQ, oh boy, thank you for pointing that one out. I'm going to stay patient for that one. I'm going hunting for some reversions today.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I don't know what's going on with the screen there. I think we're a little zoomed in, but that's okay.
Looking at that tape.
When you're looking at that tape, guess what happens? You start printing a little bit, and guess what I'm going to do a little bit here, Obi? I'm going to shave a little bit off this position. Why? Because we're pulling back a little bit. But hey, we're going to take a little bit off. I'll pull up my, what did I trade? My NVDA trade. We took a little bit off the top, but then we got stopped out break even here. So I'm going to go back to IBIT because I don't want to have to mess around with the dark pools on this right now. But we'll go over the NVDA trade shortly. But I am looking for this breach of high a day on IBIT, the continuation, the second leg, which I do think can happen. And there's Randy. Randy, show him where the money, there we go. Show him where the money is.
That
It's
order
all
right there. We got to take him out.
Oh, there.
He's saying take out that order.
Take out that order, he says, and boom, it takes it out. What a coincidence. So there we go. It did. Nice. So yeah, so Randy, the man of the hour, leading Bitcoin a little bit higher and higher as the session moves on. Yeah, Randy, there we go. So there we go. He doesn't even know. He just does it. He's a magic man. So good work there, Andy. Guys,
when Randy points, the bid steps up.
Yeah, the bid step up. It keep moving. Right, and you know what also steps up, Obi? Google and Apple making new highs a day. The market is just absolutely amazing. This is great stuff. We're having an absolute ball, guys. If you have any options questions, make sure you throw them in the chat because in a couple minutes, we're going to dive back into the lesson, finish that off. And guys, Obi, we want to see this guy on the afternoon rundown, so make sure you throw those super chats in there so we see Obi and Sean at the end of the day with an action-packed list of earnings, my guy.
Yes, sir. Okay, so that 300 not really coming in just yet as of right now. 300, we're kind of consolidating. Again, we could pull back as well. Look at that 296 is that consolidation low where we started getting that bid slowly start to creep up towards that 300. So again, that's where that structure is lying, that 296 is. So I'm going to be watching that level as well. It's about 3 points away from that. Don't necessarily want to hold this this long all the way back down to there, but that might be a place to kind of watch as well. So let us know in the chat what you guys are trading today, what you guys are watching, and we can take a look at it as well. What is it? Carl saying AMD like a rocket, algo buying. There's a lot of buying, man. There's buying going on across the board here. If you look at some of these names, like look, you want to see consistent buying. Look at IONQ. Look at Tesla. They're all holding moving averages. If you're watching some of this tape, every little drip drop gets bought right back up and then pushes and grinds higher there as well. You can see that happening on Alphabet. Look at Google. When you pull up the chart on Google, it's very, very distinct. Again, sometimes players can't necessarily hide themselves, especially when they're trying to get aggressive with the ticker. Look at these buyers. And now I don't know who it is, and I don't care who it is. But it's showing, the chart and the price action here is showing me there's clear buying happening, not only on Google, but these markets here. And look at that clean trend, very, very clean right here. I'm sure if you throw up a moving average on here, none of that has been violated. You throw up a trend line, throw up whatever indicator that you want to throw on here, and it has been holding quite nicely. So we're going to be waiting for that to see how far that one takes us right here. And IONQ continues to push to the upside here. Who is lagging behind? Who is relatively weak? Who is not making fresh highs here so far on the Mag 7? Softy, Amazon, Tesla. Who else? Midday as well.
If you're not making new all-time high or new highs, what are you doing then? Right?
I mean,
what are you doing? If you're not making all-time highs,
21.2 on the DAC right now. 21,200
crazy
testing on the Nasdaq. So let's see if we pull back off of this round number, man.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy because Google is continuing to trade higher and higher. And they almost wrote the obituary on this thing not too long ago before the earnings release. So Google being my second largest in my long-term account, I'm glad to see this thing continue to move because I've mentioned this to Sharif. You cannot doubt these big boys, especially something as massive as Google. It's so hard to bet against these guys. And I'll mention this again, and because I mentioned this before in a price action pattern from a daily standpoint, guys, and I'm going to bring it up one more time. Look at this. We have a accumulation phase. we sell off a liquidity grab distribution, whatever you would like to call it, and then you have another accumulation phase here, and then we rip to the top side and we break it, and we don't even come back. What was prior resistance, we don't even come back and test this fully as support. We just continue to rip to the top side, and I think it's only a matter of time before Google, lagging its peers, AMD, Meta, NVDA, that Google is going to make an all-time high not too far away, because it's been on a decline. It has the antitrust into it, and then there's a lot of the ad revenues apparently is dwindling as well too. So keep that in mind. But the numbers say otherwise, guys, because this thing has absolutely been on a tear and continues to tear, up 1.9% on the session, and that's exactly what we want to look at. Apple as well moving higher. So iPhone sales, upgrade cycle, it's only a matter of time, my friend. What do you got going on there?
Yes, sir. So we did get stopped out of that Tesla. Again, just had a feeler on for the push into that 300, and that 300 does not come in. That's perfectly fine. We are taking a bit of a pullback breather off of this 21,200 here on the NASDAQ, so I will stay patient for that one. But 180 incoming here on Google. So let's see if those buyers persist through that 180 and see if those dips continue to get bought up. Look at this. We're back into that range on Tesla. I was talking about that 296 level potentially being an area of interest here as that consolidation held, the consolidation lows sitting at that 296, and we couldn't really get through that 300. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take a little bit of a dabble pre-300 for the push into it, so that if I can get that 300, I can sit pretty with an average much below. But that doesn't really come in, and that's perfectly fine. Let's take a relook here at that 296, but that reversion potentially coming in as well. Who knows? But this market is hella strong. Maybe we're just taking a breather off that 21,200 on the NASDAQ here. Oh boy. Prior bar low break here happening on IONQ. Let's see if that's all she wrote there. But I'm going to stay a little bit more patient for that IONQ. Again, we've seen how again the first break may not be the break, but sometimes it is. Who knows? You got to be watching the tape. You got to use some of that discretion as well on those trades. But IONQ, bit of a pullback here off of that market, pulling back as well. So let's see if this one will have us here. What is the high? 22.59. All right, so that's about a point of risk here as of right now. So I'm going to stay a little bit patient to see if any of those pops fail to follow through. We're stepping right back up onto 298 here on Tesla, Joe. So what do you got going on?
Yeah, some people in the chat here, Obi, and it's a valid point. Someone mentions it's like we're so short-term overbought. Why would you chase it up here? Well, we're price action traders, right? So we're going to try to follow the momentum. We're going to look for a continuation in the strength. We don't want to fight the strength. But you're not wrong. We are slightly extended and overbought on the session, and maybe even debatably over the past couple of days, especially after the election. But don't fight the trend. Continue with the strength and accept the fact that the market is strong, and we're going to look to continue. Hey, I mean, if we do a little bit of a move if we do it, we're not going to call it a chase, but if we place a trade when something is extended, we're not going to hold on to it very long. We're going to accept the fact that, hey, maybe we are slightly extended, but we're going to also want to be participating just in case we do continue to go to the top side. So keep that in mind, guys. You don't want to chase. Make sure you have a playbook for these trades in order to execute those, and don't hold on to them because, like I mentioned before, we have a big event at 2 o'clock, and then also we may be short-term overbought as well too. So keep that in mind, guys. Make sure you have those stops in place. Make sure that you have your trade plan in place and that you're ready to execute just in case your thesis doesn't play out accordingly. And that happens all the time. It's a part of day trading. And day trader cut, you know what I'm going to say right now. It's part of the game. So just make sure you have those stops in place and you have those risk measures, because otherwise you're just going to get chewed up and you're going to be a little bit mad. And you're like, oh, well, why did I do that? Why did I do this? Well, hey, you didn't follow the game plan and you didn't have the right stops in place. So Google's starting to come back in a little bit here. OB trading around 197 bucks, still up 1.7% on the session. But one thing that is still crawling a little bit higher, and I do have firm belief in, is that Bitcoin is going to go and test the high of day and then hopefully break it. And that's what I will be looking for. But we're going to need a little bit of more momentum. This isolated volume signature isn't really much. I wouldn't call it standoutish. But as you reach the higher time frames and the volume starts to pick up, that's something I'm going to keep an eye on for. And this thing has had, I think it wasn't record inflows, but the Bitcoin ETFs had about 780 million in net inflows over the past day or so, and counting. So keep in mind the money is flowing into these ETFs, and that this underlying asset after Donald Trump won just continued to soar, and soar. So I am looking for price discovery, and with that can come a massive appreciation in price. And I think that's what a lot of Bitcoin holders are trading around 43.29 now. And if we break this support, then I do think that there could be some more potential downside. We go and test this pivot potentially, but I do think that we come back into this level, chop around a little bit, and then continue that northeast trajectory. All right, guys? So what we're going to do first, as Apple is making almost new highs of days, we're going to go over to Adara, and then it's Neil's lesson of the day, guys.
Lots of strength in this market here, but we have the Q outperforming the S&P 500 by almost double. So the NASDAQ here, even with that little pullback, up 1 1/3%, then the S&P 500 up about 0.65%. We're going to have to see how these perform, though, as we await the FOMC meeting. Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaking at 2:30. We're expecting the Fed to cut by about 25 basis points at 2 p.m., but the odds of this cut have actually been decreasing the closer we get to the meeting. Again, this is all speculation until we find out what the Fed has to say. We did have some comments coming from S&P Global about Trump's proposed tariff, saying that it's actually unlikely he will institute them because a 10% tariff and the 60% tariff on Chinese goods is really likely to actually increase U.S. inflation. So interesting comments there. But we're also seeing inflated prices for a lot of these Mag 7 names. Meta here breaking out of a multi-day range in between 560 and 572, now trading near 600, but pulling back. Next up, we have TSLA, also up about 3%, near that key 300 level. Right now, though, just below 298. Exciting stuff on these markets. And with that, we'll get comments from Neil and his lesson of the day. Take it away.
Thank you, Adara. The lesson of the day today, when to abort your plan. And most times you got a plan, stick to the plan, right? You don't want to Leroy Jenkins anything up in here, especially when you're trading and money's on the line. But there are moments where you might have to throw a little bit of an audible because something distinct has changed with regards to that plan. And a lot of times it's going to be playing it a little bit by gut, but you have to be extra cautious in certain situations. Now, if it's working, and if a trade is working and it's doing everything that you expect, that is not the time. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about a situation where you see something awry and maybe you want to take risk off or you want to abort. Very different from, hey, if it's working, let it continue to work. You don't want to panic when things are starting to work for you. That's the wrong attitude in trading. So I'm going to come up with an example here, and it's going to be in ARM. And I think I'll start with the one that's easier because ARM was a rocket ship today. Ideally, you want to be long in something like this. So immediately when going against the grain for mean reversion, a lot of times you'll wait for the perfect entry. It gives you the perfect entry. You have a plan of action, which if you follow along with some of the reversion plays, yeah, I'm looking to scalp out in front of like the first resistance level and then hold into VWAP. So ideally, like I'm allowing it to work down. I'm not going to double out in front of an even dollar like 152, 151. I'm waiting for the push into 150 at that particular point. But then you've got to remember the context that's going on. Why is this a little bit unique? Okay, so yes, it's a mean reversion trade, but there's a few things that I've got to factor in here. One, the market is bat-you-know-what crazy today. Two, ARM did a bit of a trap short reversion long, which makes it a little bit extra bullish. And then three, you've got pretty much everything in the space screaming that is in Qualcomm to the upside. So there's a lot of reasons why if something doesn't feel right, I want to have the ability to jump out of it. And that's pretty much what happened. It got to that first spot. There was support. And then all of a sudden in the tape looked very strong. The buyers in that 151 reemerged en masse. I elected to get more out, stop it out, break even. Obviously, this ended up being wrong because I could have held right back in. And then if I doubled up, it would have been a good trade if I just go back into it. But this was a case where aborting the plan to me made a little bit of sense based on those factors, the extra strength in the market in that point, the fact that ARM was maybe going a little meme crazy in that aftermath, but it just led to a pivot. And I don't mind that kind of pivot. There are times where you want to stick to the plan and other times where I think sometimes you want to be a little bit more cautious. Now, here's another one in DJT. And it was a couple of times in DJT where it was short sell restricted. I'm looking for the press. It's usually into VWAP. It did a trend reversal. First time gave VWAP. Okay, that's great. The second time is an even deeper trade. Trend line down. Breaking it out. Big reversion candle. And this time I moved my stop up. Now, in this particular case, you have to keep a few things in mind here. It is a perfect setup for a mean reversion trade. About as good as it's going to look. It's got the bottoming tail wick and everything you could want in that kind of a trade. However, it just could not bust that 29 level. And when it came back in here, sometimes that's a spot to add. Came down to reading the room. And when I did so on DJT, let me just zoom it out so you get the effect of yesterday. When I did that on DJT, I was reminding myself in here, hey, this is a stock that everyone expected to be rallying when Trump got in and bucked expectations. So like that ARM trade where it bamboozled people with the move down on the earnings beat and now is reversing, this is a similar story. Like it did the opposite of expectations. So maybe it's not going to be as strong as I want it to be, and you are not yet at the ultimate support level, which ended up being back down here at the 28. So putting those two things together, I just elected to say, hey, forget about this going into VWAP or reloading it in here. Let's just abort the plan because it's not trading the way that I want it to in that moment. Now, ultimately, anybody can see what happened next. Right after we finish the morning show, it goes into that 28 level, gives you a reversion trade that's much stronger into VWAP. So it was the right plan of action. Going on to something else at right after we finished the morning show was a bit of a mistake. So it was right to get away from it, but probably needed that third entry, which gave you the good one. But the good news is aborted a plan that's usually a very structured trade because it just didn't add up in the moment. Yes, the execution plan was there, and I could have stuck with it, but sometimes you've just got to be able to get away from it. And this is especially true when you're doing something which both of these two trades had. You were against the general trend of the day. If you are with the trend of the day and you have an execution plan of action, you stick to it because you're with the trend. When you're against the grain, sometimes you've got to abort. And there's nothing wrong with that, preserving some capital. As long as you look back and you go over your trades and you realize, was that a good decision? Yes, I can continue to make that adjustment. Was it a bad decision? Maybe I don't make that adjustment next time. But just because you have a plan doesn't mean you have to be stubborn about it. And a couple of examples there where it looked like it was working. I probably could have tried to stick with it, but it was just a lot easier to abort and wait for the next opportunity. That's your lesson of the day.
Gold as usual. Nothing short of it. So I think that's it. Well, Obi gets his mic set up. Obi, what is pushing for the high a day, my friend?
Oh boy.
What is pushing it? IBIT. Let's go. We're looking to make.
So is the spider.
So is the spider.
So is Apple.
So is Apple. It's just like you can almost throw a dart and hit a stock that is going to make a high a day. But what are you cooking up there, my friend? Oh, sorry. Nick W., before we headed to you, I got 2 NY cent. He asked me to look at something for him. The Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. The fund seeks to track the total return of the Dow Jones US Dividend 100 Index. The index is designed to measure the stock performance of high dividend yielding companies with a record of consistently paying dividends, selected for fundamental strength relative to their peers based on financial ratios. I'm liking the look of it as of right now, 2 NY cent. But again, you're going to want to wait for that pullback. I mean, as you can see from a daily perspective, it's a little bit extended. It did gap up, but I do think you can get a better price on that one. Let it breach that gap to the downside and then look to join long. You don't need to chase it up here, right? Even though it may go a little bit higher, You might have to sit on your hands for a little bit, but that's okay because eventually I do think it comes in, partially fills that gap, and you can look to start building size from that point. But what happened, I'll pull up my IBIT before I send it off to Obi real quick, because unfortunately, I did have a plan thesis when I mentioned to you guys, I did think we were going to go and test that high a day, but what happened is it came back and stopped me out break even. I didn't punch it again when I should have for that second move because I would have got a little bit better of a price and then I would have got that cleaner leg to the top side. But as you can see, we had this little bit of accumulation phase, the consolidation, liquidity grabs down here, and then makes that move to the northeast. But what do you got going on right now, my guy?
I'm just again patiently waiting, watching some of this price action here. Got involved in that Google as we rejected off that 21,200 mark. Again, trend hasn't really broken just yet. We could just be getting some trend deceleration as well. I have no idea, but let's see if this reversion can potentially come in. So far, we've held some of these prior consolidations or pullback levels as well. We're making higher lows as well, so I do want to keep that into consideration here. IONQ as well, looking kind of beautiful now. Taking a little bit of a pullback here. 22.59 is the high. 21.97 we're trading at as of right now. So gonna be a little bit more patient for this one to see if that can come in here. Again, market is super strong, so I do want to be a little bit nimble on these reversions. As again, kind of have to consider that reversions work a little bit better in sideways markets than they do in trending markets. So again, can be a little bit more nuanced with that strategy, I guess. In a trending market. Now, a lot of names are all-time highs, and I'm kind of been telling myself, I'm like, all right, well, if you're looking to short all-time highs, then you have to be a lot more nimble. It's probably better to get with the trend and kind of instead of looking for that reversal here. But let's see if we pull back a little bit off of that 21,200. We have been bidding up quite aggressively on both the Nasdaq potentially being a little bit of an interesting level. And so far, we haven't really broken trend. We haven't really broken that 6,000, but we're taking a little bit of a breather just underneath it. So we could be just setting up for that breakout of that 6,000. I have no idea. I'm not really watching any I guess, the futures flow, I guess, coming in. Meta taking a bit of a pullback as well. Oh boy, Lyft still trading underneath that 18 mark as of right now as well. So let us know in the chat. What are you guys trading? I'm looking for the next trade. I'm not seeing too much as of right now. I'm seeing a potential pullback on the markets, but nothing has really confirmed just yet. We could just continue to push higher and higher, like I said before. So let's see what we got on the board here. So none of the Mag 7s are really, I mean, if you got long off of the morning session, off of any of the opening range breaks, oh boy, you were definitely sitting pretty on a lot of these names here. And I'm seeing that the super chats have kind of slowed down there, Joe.
We can get them in there.
I mean, if you guys want to see me on the after, I guess the market recap show with Sean and Nadera, let us know by throwing in those super chats. We got 6 out of 30. We got to hit that goal of 30 super chats as of right now. So let us know. Ask your questions. Show us some love. If you guys want to see me on the after show, if you guys don't, that's perfectly fine.
We want to see you. Don't get it.
I mean, you'll see me regardless. But you know, all right. So 180. We're pulling back off of that 180 as of right now on the Google. Let's see what people are tagging me in the chat. Let's see if, okay, mRNA saying Jeremy Newman. Let's take a quick look at Moderna here on the day. What has Moderna been up to? mRNA was definitely on my watch list this morning, but I kind of looked away. They had earnings this morning, and I was like, all right, well, even though they did a nice, they had a double beat on their earnings, some decent results there. No real significant action in terms of price. In the pre-market session, you can see that it ranged, couldn't really get past that 85.5 level. We made lower highs and higher lows, so a bit of price compression coming off of the open. We get that strong flush coming right in. Can't really get past that 57 mark too aggressively. And look at this consolidation going into the open. That consolidation low sitting at 55, and that range gets broken quite aggressively right off of the open, and the rebid can't really get past quarters above the 55. 23s is the high of the second 3-minute candle here before it flushes down into 52 and change on Moderna. So Moderna, quite nice if you had the flush, if you had the idea to get short on this sideways action off of their earnings. Again, earnings was quite nice, but again, I didn't really take a look at their guidance either. Price action off of the open, it seems like the shorts are definitely winning as of right now here on Moderna. El Sol saying he wants me to talk about BLND. Hey, listen, I'm not an analyst, but I'm not an analyst though. But we shall see what this ticker is up to. BLND, Blend Labs. All right, so this thing doing a little bit of relative volume here. I got 5 to 4 times the relative volume. How much volume is it actually doing? 3 million on the day so far. Not too bad, with a float of 189.5 million. So not bad either when it comes to that float. Trending to the upside here, holding VWAP as well in the morning session right here, and stepping up during the midday session. I like that stair step as well. Now another step up towards fresh day highs as of right now, 431s. Let's see if that step kind of consolidates above this 420 heyo mark on this second step on this Blend Labs. They had earnings, yeah, solid name there, and a solid action there, I mean, and a double beat for this one as well here on Blend Labs. So let's see what else you guys are looking at here. Yeah, also saying BLND had earnings. Yeah, so they did have earnings with a nice little double beat there. You can see both on revenue and EPS.
Yep. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff there, Obi. We got some activity in the chat. So Lewis, we're gonna look at BA right now for you, and then Vin, we're gonna get into some NVIDIA puts and calls, and then Howlar, we're gonna dive really deep into your question as well too. So we'll start it off with some BA, guys. Boeing. The machinist strike just ends. Significant pay increase. Higher contributions to the 401k for my fellow Americans. They want a pension. They got what they wanted. So is it time for this stock to continue, or will hopefully rebound and continue to the top side, because it is absolutely beat down to an absolute pulp. I can't even give you the percentage metric that it's been down from its all-time highs. But when you have little to no competitors, and I stress this enough with my peers, is like, why can't you do any better? I mean, Airbus is your only competitor. It's time to turn this ship around, this plane around, and then start to perform a little bit better. So is BA. Has BA found a bottom? Possibly. We have this isolated volume signature right here, which I really like to see. We did breach the lows slightly, but then immediately bought right back up. But long term, I think if you're looking to, it's going to need some quarters, some positive quarters ahead of it in order for this thing to really, really start moving. But from a technical standpoint, grabbing this bottom may not be an absolutely horrible thing, all right? So again, we have the strike over, increase in pay for the workers, and more contributions to pensions. So we're gonna see how this reflects on the price of Boeing. But as of right now, it has been beaten to a pulp and hopefully looks like it's going to turn around, all right? So that's the look on Boeing. And then we're going to go to Vin. Yeah, Vin, that's an easy one. We don't gotta get too deep into that one. NVIDIA puts or calls. I'm never shorting this thing. You can't, in my opinion. It's like, don't short this thing from an intraday perspective at all, because you will get, or not from an intraday, but from a long-term perspective, you probably will lose, because the valuations are still respectively up compared to the price that it's currently trading at. So it still has some room to go. The PE isn't extended on it, so keep that in mind, especially with earnings coming up on the 22nd of November. I think that NVDA absolutely skyrockets. But one thing to keep in mind is the growth rate is hard to maintain. It's put in such an amazing cycle. To sustain that type of growth is very difficult. Expect it to wind off a little bit, but still, overall, this stock is an absolute monster, and I will look to go long NVDA. And I'm fortunate enough, when we should have grabbed it when it was $99 earlier in the summer. Obi, $100 for NVDA, and we didn't dabble into it for the long term. So that's a good look there. And Hal R, I really like this question. Joe W, if you want to go long stock with calls, what delta and time frame are you looking at to enter? So the delta, I'll just say it at this. So correct me if I'm wrong, but deltas at the money are around 0.5. All right. So I'm going to look for deltas and at the money delta something, I don't like buying in the money calls, right? Because you have a little bit of extrinsic value and intrinsic value, but I'm looking to buy something that is only extrinsically valuable. So either at the money where it has no options money, well, the moneyness is at the money where I only have extrinsic value, and I'm looking for that underlying asset to start appreciating, all right? So that's part one. And then the time frames, so I just experimented with an AMD trade, right? And unfortunately it didn't work out. And one of the key metrics on why it didn't work out. Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, they got some, they're trolling. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Anyways, the aroma of the food is just over.
The aroma of the food.
Yeah, it's just over. So they're killing it over there. So, anyways, back to reality, guys. This is reality. Yeah, back to my reality here. Yeah. Sorry, I just I caught so much heat from that. Yeah, brisketless reality. I caught a little heat for that one. But Halar, so I just experimented with some AMD calls, playing a gap fill, and one thing that really hurt me on the trade is not having enough time. So I bought calls with a month out. So if you're looking for an immediate move, then you can lower that time frame. But if you're looking for a longer term move and you have enough data collected that you need a little bit more time, it's always better to spend a little bit more money on your options so that extrinsic value doesn't get chewed up, just in case you're not in the money right away, all right? And it takes a little while. So keep that in mind. Hopefully that answered your questions. I'm going at the money strike with a longer time frame options so that it gives you more time for it to work, because don't forget, options time decay and theta decay is real, my friend. What do you got cooking up there?
Nothing much, man. I'm watching this IONQ. This is why I wanted to be patient for that reversion to come in. I'm like, all right, sure, we got that prior bar low, but if you're getting in too early on that initial prior bar low, it's not always the best kind of a place. If the bid kind of steps right back in, again, it could just pull back up towards its highs, and that's exactly what it did. Again, it's just an indicator of a potential change in pressure. But again, the tape is definitely more telling than the chart in some of those at some of those moments there. And I'm just watching that as of right now here as we trade above this 22 mark on IONQ. Market still holding resistance there at that 21,200 on the Nasdaq and 6,000 on the ES there. Softy though, oh boy, that's where that reversion is coming in quite nicely. Look at that, beautiful. So this one, that prior bar actually worked quite well, but look at the risk you have to be taking here. So the risk, if you're risking to the high there, I guess you're getting short here, and you're risking to the high, maybe looking for that reversion to VWAP. Is that, I guess that's a 2 to 1. But here's the thing. We want more. We want something that's a 3, 4, 5 to 1 on some of these reversions. And we don't want no mediocre. Let's say that with that pullback. But that pullback coming in quite nicely. The market's pulling back as well. Here, Alphabet taking a pullback, and Amazon, that consolidation low we were talking about earlier, and I was trying to get short on Amazon. So Amazon right here, look at that consolidation low at that 210 halves. That's what I was talking about. Look at that. That comes in quite nicely. We're trading at 209 halves as of right now. So, oh boy, that was definitely a trade that I missed out on. I noticed it here. I wasn't at my desk. I'm like, all right, we'll hop on the midday and then we'll reassess. And I got a piece here, but then I covered most of it on that hold of that 210 halves. But look at that, it gives you a place to re-engage as it fails to follow through on that 210 half and pushing even lower now. Oh boy, here we go. What else is pulling back? I got Alphabet, Softy, and Amazon pulling back here as well. Apple, not just yet. So Apple, we saw that that was not really doing too much yesterday, but holding its own today as of right now on the day. So let's take a quick look at some of the other constituents. We got to take a look at Meta and Berkshire as well. Let's take a look at AVGO as well when it comes to some of these market leaders. So let's take a quick look at Meta. Meta already on the pullback. You can see that it's kind of broken its accelerated trend right there as well. at that, what was this? This was at that 591, high of 593, and we're trading at 589, 590s as of right now here on Meta. Let's take a quick look at AVGO as well. AVGO sideways right now. Berkshire had quite a strong day yesterday, again, with the rest of the market. You can see, look at that, that's hella strong on the day, but we come right into yesterday's opening range off of today's open. Strong Quadunk. VWAP sellers all day, every day here on Berkshire. You can see every little pop that's attempting to push past this VWAP, or if you looked up, if you like prices, 463.70s, can't really get past it. We're making lower highs as we trade lower and lower below VWAP. Here, lower highs is what I mean. Bit of a shelf. Bit of a hold here. I guess, what is that? 461s, 461 halves. We were consolidating underneath VWAP is what I'm trying to say here on Berkshire. So some of these constituents taking harder pullbacks than others. Let's see what this price action builds into, and do we get through that 21,200 here on the NASDAQ? If we do, oh boy, we're still going on this one. The trend has only decelerated, Joe.
Jeez, yeah, good luck there. Obi, we're back in some iBit here. But before we hand it over to me, we got a question in the chat from, I don't want to butcher your name, Biz Watch it. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. But hey, hi, Obi, I'm on QCOM long. Buy 100 at 185.05. Shall I hold it for a $600 loss? Still, please give me some suggestion. Thanks in advance. So what's your luck on the QCOM there? It was for you. That question was for you there.
Okay,
Yeah, QCOM
right.
there.
Yeah, no, Qualcomm. Let's take a quick look at Qualcomm. They did report earnings last night, so
They did.
Got to keep that on. Got to keep that on watch. Right there. So
And they're in at
strong.
185.05 apparently.
They're in
Yeah,
long
they're,
or short?
yeah, they're long at 185.05.
Oh boy, we are trading at 170, 340. So I don't know what type of risk parameters that you're using, but that's about 10 points out of the money there. So we did flush aggressively off of the open. You can see that earnings reaction didn't really hold. We couldn't really get. I was actually looking for a long on this name. So the idea definitely was there, but the price action definitely wasn't, and nor is the chart as we break below this consolidation low, both from yesterday's earnings reaction and today's pre-market levels as well. You can see trend into the open. And you're holding VWAP as well, right? So that's something you definitely have to keep in mind. Look, I'll put on the anchored as well, so we can get a better look at this price action right here. So anchored to the event right there, we are trading. So look, we attempted to push, even in today's pre-market, we attempted to push that anchored VWAP, and we cannot get past it. And then we claim today's intraday VWAP as well, and that's where sellers were in the pre-market. That's where sellers were aggressive off of the open, extending lower off of that VWAP there. So I did have Qualcomm on my watch list this morning, but it did not do what I was looking for, which was maybe a claim of VWAP, maybe a claim of some of these pre-market support levels, and it did none of that. So I was like, all right, the long. I only had the idea to get long this name, and that none of that action really showed itself. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to take that off of my list, off the table for me. But if you were a little bit more nimble and you were like, all right, well, what do we do with some of these pre-market levels, and what do we do with some of these earnings reference levels and indicators that come off of earnings, like anchored VWAP there? We're trading well below it. We've held as a resistance. We've broken down any sort of support that we've attempted to claim post earnings reaction as well, and now we're extending off of VWAP. So again, looking very weak as well, dwindling volume on the day as well, doing relative volume of about 7 to 8 times on Qualcomm. So that's the look there on Qualcomm. Now that's just my perspective. I told you what I had planned on it, and it didn't really do what I was looking for. Oh my God, look at this softie. Look at that beautiful reversion.
Oh wow.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Next trade is what I'm looking for there. Softy, great reversion, but that's fine. We can't catch them all. But we are in a bit of this Google. Let's see if this Google reverts to VWAP there. Amazon already doing it well before others. Softy following in here. Alphabet coming in at third place. Let's see if Tesla and Apple can follow along. Again, looking at some of these Mag 7s, NVIDIA looking hella strong as well. NVIDIA holding itself. Right here, look at that consolidation above VWAP, price compression happening on what some would call a bit of a flag action here in the upper quartile of this action off of these lows from the pre-market. 144 halves holding quite well for a push all the way up to 148.75's day high as of right now. VWAP sitting at 147.65. 64. Not really doing too much relative volume on the day. It's done about 102 million yesterday. Yesterday was quite aggressive. What was the volume on this ticker yesterday? Let me just take a quick look at that right now. So yeah, yesterday 242 million shares traded on the NVDA. So some strong volume there on some of these tickers off the election. There is a lick grab of 6,000 on the ES. Here we go. Is that information we could be using to get a little more aggressive on these reversions? Let's see if the Nasdaq follows through, Joe.
Yeah, that's a beautiful look. And someone in the chat asked us where they were talking about coin. IK, I know you were talking about coin and how you had some calls and you're like, I wish I held them a little bit longer. But I mean, if you sold them today, you're still sitting on a pretty penny. So good luck there. Up over 30% since the election. So this thing has been absolutely monstrous. Put in some crazy days. Now up over around 30% in the past couple of days from this gap up session. But now, before, I mean, this thing IPO'd at a pretty hefty price. I'm going to pull up the IPO price. So if you bought that IPO, I'm sorry for you. But from a swing standpoint, IK, very, very nice look. But KGP, I am going to answer your question right after we get back from Adara.
We've got IWM here actually green on the day. We have seen lower highs and higher lows. Still, though, with that now 2-day pre-market resistance around 239s for that Russell 2000. Today, we're not going to look as much as pure small caps. We don't have as many running, but we're going to take a look at smaller caps all in that earnings space. So we do have Dutch Bros here, BROS, up about 35% with a market cap just over $5 billion and 11.3% short float. They did beat on earnings and raising their guidance for BROS. Next up, we have UAA. This is Under Armour, up about 31% today with a market cap of around $2.1 billion and a short float of 15.3%. They did beat here in earnings per share and sales, and they also raised their fiscal 2025 adjusted EPS guidance, but it's worth noting they actually do expect a decline here year over year on their revenue at low double-digit percentage rates, and they actually see a 14 to 16% decline in North America revenue. So not a great report, but UAA still to the upside. You can also trade Under Armour as UA, different classes of shares like Google and Google. Next up, we have Aurinia Pharmaceuticals, AUPH. This one up about 15% near day's highs. A bit of a smaller market cap here, just over $1 billion. They did beat on earnings per share and sales here. So AUPH, one of 3 smaller cap earnings plays on watch.
Wow. Yeah. As always, I always thank you, Adaria. Sorry, Obi, we'll send it to you right after I answer this question from KGP. So for options at a later date, do you use good till day order or which other order type? I usually go good till cancel. And especially with your stop losses, you want to have good until cancel, because then if you only have good till day, then at the end of the day, the order obviously doesn't exist anymore. So you want to go good till cancel, and I'll use this for my credit spreads. Even on the fills, I'll wait for a specific price, good till cancel on the buy order, and then on the stop order as well is GTC, good till cancel. And before we head it off to Obi, absolutely coin is absolutely monstrous. IK, I know that's probably a tough one, but you did really good on that trade, so congratulations to you. And we continue to climb higher, my friend. What are you cooking up over there?
Yeah, you gotta watch for those good till cancels. But this Google kind of looking like I gotta stop out of that one. We ain't good, but we still good on this one on Google, holding that 179 halves as of right now. So I think I'm gonna piece out of that one. Market's kind of turning a little bit here as well. That's an aggressive bid, pulling back up on that Google. Again, I don't necessarily have to be involved. I'm not seeing what I want to see. I'm going to stay a little bit nimble with this one here as of right now. IONQ still holding some of those highs there, so I've got to pack my patience for that one. Shout out to Sharif. Let's see what that IONQ will have in store for us, but we are starting to consolidate a little bit sideways here, so that's interesting for sure here on IONQ. Let's see what else. SPY puts max it. We're pulling back saying Kenny D. All right, let's see. Spider still holding 20 pennies within its high. So I don't know. The arachnid is very, very strong today, climbing up that spout. We saw that climb coming in from mid to end of day yesterday, or actually from the beginning of the day, that opening range low catches a bid, makes a higher low, and continues coming into today for that grind up to the upside. Gotta watch out for those grinds, man. That's what I'm realizing. When the price action is grinding, you got to be wary in terms of fighting that trend, especially when it's grinding, because it could just keep on grinding until it hits your stop, or you get liquidated, or kind of pushes your pain point in terms of risk there. 22 is holding here on IONQ. You can see that little bit of a pullback in, but sideways consolidation. Let's see if we can get anything on the break of this consolidation. But that EV is looking. I mean, I liked it up here. Didn't really get involved, but if we can get something really close, some distinct action near these highs that I can get involved in for a pullback into VWAP, maybe we'll see. That bid definitely has dissipated, but not really broken trend. So I'm going to stay patient for that one. Market still holding below that 21,200 and underneath that 6,000 here on the ES as of right now. So that's all I got on watch. Nothing too crazy, man. What I'm realizing as of late is that if I just have a few names on watch, I got a couple of strategies, a couple of playbook strategies. If I only wait for those, and sure, we can dabble in some other things here and there, but not really putting on any significant size on those shots, but really kind of swinging for it when our setup kind of shows up, and it shows up as a B+ or an A+ setup. There is what I am trying to work on as of right now in my trading journey. So let's see. Not really seeing anything that's really worth swinging hard at as of right now. But if some of these things start to revert, start to pull back aggressively, maybe we find something that we can risk off of. But as of right now, nothing too crazy. Let us know in the chat. Have you guys had any A+ setups show up today for your playbook? I want to know. I want to know what other people are trading, how you're trading it. Do you guys take the opening range breaks? Do you guys take a trend breaks? Do you guys like to fade strong momentum? You guys like to get with the trend? What is your playbook? I want to know in the chat, and we can talk about some different strategies that potentially different players have. And again, you can have there's 100 different ways to trade. A few of them might be profitable, but again, it's always interesting to listen and learn from other participants to see how they're thinking and how they're trading there. Elon saying FSLR at the open, A+ at the open. Okay, all right, yeah. Should let me know what your A+ setups are. I definitely want to see FSLRs. We can potentially reverse engineer some of this stuff here. So FSLR off of the open. Oh boy. Okay, so are you looking at that strong wick of this pre-market session, or prior day's opening range highs, or after hour lows? What makes this an A+ for you? Is it that happening plus the VWAP hold plus the opening range high, pre-market high break for the long through 195 into 200? I have no idea, but let me know, Elon, to see if this. I want to know what makes this an A+ for you on First Solar, but strong action nonetheless on First Solar, breaking past prior day's highs. We did get a bit of a sell-off yesterday on a lot of these solar names, kind of gapping down off of the election result there, and now we're catching a little bit of a reversion on a multi-day frame here, pulling back up into the 200 on First Solar. So I'll be looking for that on in the chat there, Elon. All right, so we got another one here. Ruchid saying short Carvana. Let's see what Carvana is up to here. Carvana, oh boy, all right, so a little bit of a trend break there, pulling back into VWAP, but pretty much sideways there as it enters back into the opening range. So nothing too crazy I'm seeing here. But again, I don't know how you're trading it, but if this is an A+ for you, let me know what makes it an A+ for you. What makes it an outlier opportunity that you want to put risk on for? That's what I want to hear. Lexter talking about Obi. Can you take a look at Zeta? 2 days ago, went up with a lot of volume in less than 15 minutes, 60% drop. Today is the same pattern. How is it even legal to manipulate a stock? Oh, don't get me started about spoofy men and stocks getting cornered and manipulated. It happens across the board. Here's the thing. Here's how I think about it. You can sit there and be like, oh, that's not fair. That shouldn't happen. But it's a mechanic that occurs in the game. So you just have to get good. That's all I'm going to say about that one there. It's part of the game. So let's take a look at that one. XTIA, right? XTIA. Yeah, oh boy, that's beautiful right there. Look at that 10 penny pop up into 10 pennies, and it seems like that's the resistance. And again, apparently, I guess there's some selling going on there. Let's take a quick look at the historical on this one as well. Okay, that looks about interesting right there. So this thing has been quadunking on the larger time frame. A bit of a split action there too. Wow, look at that. That bar don't end. 518. We're trading at 5 pennies. Okay, all right. I see what you're doing here. But yeah, no, nothing crazy. It's done a lot of volume today. 303 million shares traded at 5 pennies. So maybe not a lot of dollar volume, but definitely doing some volume on the day here on this name. Look at that relative volume as well, 3 times as much here. But yeah, again, stocks get manipulated all the time. Again, you think that tickers like the Mag 7 can't happen on the Mag 7? Of course it happens. It happens on a daily basis, in my opinion. So again, it's a PvP game. You just have to kind of go with the flow and see what opportunities best cater to your style of trading and your personality as well when you're building that playbook. But something like that, absolutely interesting. As again, it pulls up aggressively into a level where we've seen sellers before over the past couple of days. We do that again today, and guess where that selling comes in again? Right at that 10 penny mark. Now, if that 10 penny broke out, maybe that's a different trade, but we held that level as a resistance there on that ticker. So good to see that as well. Red Plasma saying Obi is definitely a gamer. Yes, sir. Playing the most ranked game in the world right now, or trying to learn on these markets. So yeah, definitely a gamer. Do you game?
I used to be a heavy gamer. I was a big Madden NHL guy, and then Call of Duty.
Nice.
So I was thinking about that last night. I was like, do I pick up Call of Duty again? Just because it's always good to be playing video games, because I'm not saying that this is a video game, but it keeps you fresh and sharp. But yeah, I used to be massive Madden, NHL, and Call of Duty were my go-tos. And I haven't played since I started this trading journey. I said, you know what I said, Obi? I said, I was either going to continue gaming Warzone with the boys, or I'm going to take up stock trading. And then with that, I got to give up something. And with that something was gaming. But I'm thinking about getting in to a little bit more gaming, because I like to, hey, it was fun, man. There's nothing like staying up till 2, 3 in the morning with the boys, running some squads and playing some Warzone and other types of games. So those were really good times. A lot of people in the chat, Obi, were mentioning Boeing. And yeah, it's continuing to soar higher, up 3.38% on the day. And it's starting to pull back a little bit, but I think this thing can continue to crawl a little bit higher. We mentioned it before. We're still in this zone here. If I'm going to look to long it, I want to see some conviction break through this zone, and then we can continue that move to the northeast side there, guys. But it's time for an ad read, I believe. So, okay. We still got a little bit of all right, so we got a little bit of time. Miguel Lopez, Joe, Miguel Lopez, I don't understand why people would buy contracts on earnings week where the IV is super elevated. You can buy contracts the following week at a much lower IV. That is absolutely fantastic and valid point, because you don't want to buy these contracts when IV is elevated. Those premiums are increased, and then as implied volatility starts to dwindle day after day, or as Miguel mentioned, a week later, those values are significantly less, and therefore the price movement is going to dwindle, all right? So all right, guys, it's time for the ad read. Trade the Pool. Trade the Pool allows traders like you to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital with no PDT rule holding you back. That's a real edge in trading, Obi. Here's the exciting part. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program for stock traders. For a one-time fee of just $97, you'll receive $20,000 in buying power. All you need to do is reach the profit goals. The best part yet? This limited edition program now has a reduced profit goal and fewer minimum trades required to reach the funded phase. Plus, the profit split is upgraded. Keep 70% of the profits. Don't miss the chance to explore this limited offer. Join now for free. The link is in the description. Scan the QR code, folks. The link is in the description. Trade the Pool. You guys will have a fantastic time. It's a challenge. Get into that. Trade the Pool is the way to go to get funded, my friend. What are you cooking up over there?
Yes, sir. Nothing much. Just watching this action here on Google as it continues to tick back up. I thought I already got out of this one. I did not necessarily get out. but it is pretty much relatively close to my stop there. So I'm going to just let it kind of deal with itself. Let's see if we make some lower highs here. We are attempting to push that 21,200 once again, and we are trading above 6,000 on the ES as well. So going to keep some of these on watch. Again, always feel free to mention any tickers that we might be missing in the chat, and we will take a look at them. And I see that some people were asking, we were talking about gaming, and I think Mike G saying you're an obvious gamer with that language. What is your favorite game, man? I haven't. I guess you're right. After we can't be staying up till 2 a.m. anymore especially on the weekdays when you're trading actively, and again, like I said, playing one of the more, I would say one of the more higher ranked games in the world again. Against some very, very strong players.
There's no beginner mode in the game.
There's no beginner mode. I mean, there's. We were talking to Wayne about this yesterday. There's different elos that you can put yourself in to give yourself a little bit more of an advantage. They're less competitive arenas, right? There isn't a ranked matching system when it comes to the markets. You get to pick your arena. You get to pick your battlefield and what you play on. As well, but favorite game, man, I like Rocket League. I haven't played Rocket League in the longest time, but I like Dragon Age as well. Dragon Age, I like MMORPGs. When it comes to FPS, Destiny 1 was sick. Destiny 2, I like as well.
What is Rocket League?
Rocket League, it's like car soccer. It's like soccer where your cars have.
This guy said, you know Rocket League?
Yeah, Sean knows Rocket League. Come on.
No, not of course he said.
Yeah,
no,
come on, where you been?
Of course.
Where you been?
Come on.
Ramin Singh, her 11-year-old sister plays
Joe.
Rocket League. Come on.
Come on, that's not a come on.
Why
Where's the fail stamp there?
Come on. Yeah, no, Rocket League's pretty dope. The skill ceiling's pretty high, and I like it because, again, it reminds me of the time you put in is kind of what you get out of the game. The skill level. There you go. That's beautiful right there. Thank you for pulling that up. Let's go. Look at that flip reset off the wall. Flip reset off the wall. Let's go. That's beautiful.
All right.
Look at that. Some aerials coming in. So that definitely takes a lot of practice and skill that comes in. You have to get better at it by putting in the reps and looking for ways to get better as well. Doing a lot of training and practice. That's why I kind of like it. But again, time intensive indeed if you do want to get better at that game. But you know what? We don't have to continue playing till 2, 3 a.m. at night. You can just schedule in like 30 minutes a day for a little bit of reps, right? So I think that's what I was doing. Again, as of late, haven't been really gaming too much there. But yeah, no, I like MMORPGs. I like fast-paced first-person shooters as well. And then Rocket League, pretty fast-paced as well.
Were you a PUBG guy or a Call of Duty guy?
I've played both games. I never really got into either of them that much, but you know, they're solid games. I remember Fortnite I played for like a little bit.
Yeah, Fortnite was
in the early days. What else have I played? I think as of recent, I haven't really hopped on too much there. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Phantom's asking me what my rank is. What my rank in Rocket League? I think I'm diamond, maybe diamond 1 or 2, if I remember correctly. And 2s, I like playing doubles. 3s is slightly different mechanics for rotation. Different game not really game mechanics, but I would say rotational mechanics and how you play the game slightly different. Anyways, back to trading. Let's get back to these market mechanics and see how this price action is treating us as of right now. So Google came right back in. So we made a lower high just underneath that 179.80s, and we're pulling back in. Let's see, 21,200 here on the NASDAQ still hasn't broken with any distinction, and we're still watching the 6,000 mark. IONQ hasn't really gone anywhere right there. Bears versus Bulls, shout out. I made it to platinum, but that's it. That's solid, man. Plat is sick. I'll tell you, I took the longest time to get out of bronze, and then once I got out of bronze, it was silver, gold. Gold took a while. Plat takes a little bit, and then plat to diamond obviously takes a little bit as well. And then there's obviously champ, grand champ, and supersonic legend.
Hey, supersonic legend.
Ranks.
All right, yeah. So yeah.
What are the rank? I wonder if there's rankings in the market. I wonder if there's anybody. I think there's places like I think K Info that does verified trader rankings and stuff. I don't know if they have like a ranking or an ELO system there. But that would be interesting.
Yeah, no,
to kind of
there's
incorporate.
an intraday ranking system. I'm pretty sure you can find somewhere. And I remember Ducks. I was watching.
You
Ducks.
see Dux's trade on DJT yesterday?
No.
Oh boy.
But I know he has like one of the
Definitely
largest
one to
intraday trades
study.
of all time. He made like $2 million net or something like that
Yeah.
on a single intraday trade. Which
That's
is
what he made on
absolutely
DJT yesterday.
Did he? Yeah. So there you go, Ducks. That guy's absolutely.
I've learned a lot from I guess
Ducks.
his content and his material as well. Solid trader. Again,
Yeah.
avid gamer as well. Very avid gamer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and that's a good that you mentioned that. I think it's really important. I think I'm gonna dive into it. Maybe we'll message the boys this weekend and we'll get some Call of Duty running and run some missions because I know those were always good times. But as of right now, Obi, we're short some. And exactly. Yeah. Ram said that my girlfriend's gonna be mad that I'm gonna be gaming all weekend. But hey.
Just game with her. You got to get her into it.
She can watch.
Oh, you wish she can watch.
She can watch.
you're like, I'm not. I'm not getting in the lobby with any noobs.
Yeah, I'm here to win. I play to win. So she sit on the sidelines for that. Maybe we'll hand the control over once we're a little bit tired and bored. So.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, but they're all older.
You know when you're oh, so maybe you were on the end of this.
Yeah.
I had younger siblings and they were like, oh, I want to play too. I would just give them an unplugged controller, just be like, here you go.
Yeah, that's what we did with the little kid, right? He'd play NHL with the cousins and give the unplugged controller. Yeah, that's fantastic. But yeah, we're short some BA. I got a really tight stop here at 152.61s. If we break that to the top side, then I'm out. But I'm gonna look for a little bit of a pullback. I don't expect too much of a move here on this one. So again, really tight stop, looking for around 152s. And if it goes, it doesn't. I mean, if it goes, it goes, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. So Kyle Burdett, hey Fabian, where's the games thing like sports? Not too sure what you mean by that, my friend, but thank you for the $2 super chat. We are now 7 out of 30. So guys, keep sending in those super chats because we want to see Obi on the afternoon rundown. Or
we're 7 out of 30.
So yeah, we're almost there. We got an hour left, but we're gonna
boy.
see you on the afternoon show with Adara and Sean. So good luck there. And Adara, I didn't forget you this time, so please forgive me on that one. So I can't forget because he's always giving me hot picks in the morning when we see each other in the kitchen. So good luck there. Will Tesla break 300? That's a great question. Let's take a look at it. I don't have my eyes on it. We have Microsoft pulling a little bit, still up about 1% on the day, and Apple up about 2% as well too. So let's take a look at Tesla and see what the Cybertruck has been up to, as Sharif likes to refer to. So yeah, I mean, we're creeping there, 289s, just under 299, and I think that this can be the potential run where we do go and test that 300 because I know my boy Danny Ives over at Woodbush is very rarely wrong. Yeah, Kyle. Okay, Kyle. So you gotta. I'm telling you, you gotta read them first.
Kyle.
Right?
I mean, that you can
know
read
what I mean. Where yeah. So you gotta read them before you actually say it on air. So thank you, Kyle, for the $5 super chat. I will post a like on that one, but that's as far as I can go.
No, that's definitely
my friend.
readable, dude. What do you mean?
Definitely. Okay, read it. So, Joe, I saw some videos where the partners watch while the guys games. Okay, all right. So, yeah, I guess I misread that wrong. So that's not too bad. But anyways, yeah, Obi, I'm not going to say too much more about that. But guys, we're over here looking at Tesla.
What's the next trade?
What is the next trade? And is it a Tesla reversion? I don't know. But I'm looking for the break of 300.
Yeah, accumulating
exactly.
into it. If you have inventory from before, it's nice. But
we'll wait. We're gonna wait for some volume to step in there. I do think we go and break it. But as of right now, we're gonna keep our eye on BA because we like it for a little bit of a pullback here. So we're having fun with that, and we're gonna continue to hold on to this position as it slowly starts to break down. No, Elon, I am short BA. Wow. Good luck. I'm going to need it. Yeah, Kyle, get my mind out of the game. Yeah, I know, right? So, yeah, guys, that's it. That's the look. We're going to hold on to this BA. If we get stopped out, we got stopped out. What are you cooking up there, my guy?
I see Thomas Johnson asking, Obi, do you think PLTR is a short into 200 on the bounce reclaim? I'm sorry, what? Short into 20, maybe you mean? On the bounce to reclaim 55, then 56? Oh, you mean the into 200 EMA? I think that's what you might mean right there. Okay, so yeah, let's take a quick look at that one. You know what? Google is consolidating a little too much sideways here, so I'm just going to get out of that one right there. Thank you. Come again. Sideways consolidation, not really what I'm looking for. I was looking for the pullback into VWAP right there. Market's holding strong as well, so I'm gonna just get out of that one. That's not really. I guess you time out of the trade as well. That's technically a stop. That's a reason to stop as well. And funny enough, we bid back. We sell off a little bit there as soon as I get out, so that's perfectly fine. Next trade. But PLTR, let's take a look at that one on the 5-minute right here. So 200 moving average. Okay, so let's, I don't have it up here. You know what? I'll pull it up for you on my own chart right after we come back from Madeira with crypto.
Another really strong bullish volume candle here for Ethereum. We usually talk about Bitcoin in the morning, so I like to talk about a different crypto name when we go over this in the midday. And Ethereum, as I mentioned yesterday, was in a bit of a bear flag that was really, really, I guess, solidified with that move down on Black Monday, August 5th. But now here, as I said yesterday, it'd be nice to see us make another higher high. And now we have not only above this other previous high, but we also eclipsed this high from mid to late October. So great look here for ETH. We've taken out basically all of these higher highs here and higher lows starting here in September 6th when we had a bit of an uptrend. So this is a really good look here for ETH. Currently running into, though, a bit of previous support going back to May 15th. So maybe a bit of a critical area for ETH as it heads into 2890s, so 2,890 against the USD. 3,000, of course, going to be a key level, but it'll be also interesting to see what we do with this other previous area of support that we ran into in late May and then again in early July, 2930. Either way, it looks like ETH with these two strong volume candles, two of the strongest it's had in months, continuing to push to the upside. Definitely not as strong as Bitcoin in terms of where it is. Bitcoin, we did have, of course, cracking into new all-time highs, even today, whereas ETH is a little bit more stagnant, definitely below some of those highs. But here are just a few areas that I think we might need to clear here. We want to see more upside for ETH, guys.
All right, thank you, Adara. So we're gonna cover this Palantir here. So I did pull up this Palantir. Thank you for that. Suggestion. It was Thomas Johnson. Again, guys, we're covering some of these tickers that you guys want us to look at. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel there, and so we can continue providing you with that look and that valuable information and entertainment when it comes to the stock market right here. So 5-minute chart, you said, and you want to see on the 200 period right here. Apparently, okay. So this is not. You know what? We can add this EMAs here. Boom. Right there. Let me just add that on. Let's make it into a 200 because I think that's what you're asking for. So 200 EMA right here. Boom. On the 5-minute chart. So what were you asking again on the 5-minute chart? Do you think PLTR is a short into the 200 on and then bounce to reclaim 55 then 56? I have no idea what the price is going to do. I have no idea what this chart's going to do. But here's the thing. Here's what it's showing us. Is what I can potentially talk about there is that we did kind of attempt to push past yesterday's high. Look at that strong close, man. That PLTR closed hella strong on the day at high a day yesterday. We attempt to continue. Look at that flat consolidation in the after hours as well. We attempt to continue right off of the open with that strong volume, and we basically fail to follow through. Not only do we fail to follow through, we pull back into this consolidation, we break through that. We pull back into this consolidation from earlier in the pre-market, we break through that. And now we're just trading sideways, consolidating underneath what seems to be, that looks like VWAP right there, man. So let's put VWAP on here as well, real quick. So right there, so VWAP, oh boy, I don't like the VWAP with the band multipliers right there as well. So let's, where do I, you know what? 1 second. No, I think that's fine. Yeah, okay, so we took off the bands there. So take off the EMA as well. Look at that, VWAP. So we attempt to break past yesterday's highs. We sell off. We get aggressively sold off. Look at that volume expanding as we sell off, and it starts to dissipate as we start to find a base in and around yesterday's consolidation levels. You can see that right there, a little bit of a bid coming in after or going into the close, happening at 53.70s right there. And take a look at where the bid was found today, 53.70s. Where that aggressive bid came in going into the end of the day there. So that's what the chart has been showing us today, consolidating underneath VWAP. VWAP sellers on the day apparently a little bit more dominant than some of the buyers that showed up into the close from yesterday is the look that I have on PLTR. What is the ticker going to do going forward? I have no idea.
We have no idea. But Obi, what an idea I do have of is we have 3,600 people watching and only 465 likes.
Come on.
Come on.
You got to
folks.
pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
Exactly. Come on. Let's get those likes up, guys. We've been talking all the stocks that you mentioned in the chat. We've been talking gaming. We've been talking about what to be in and what not to be in. So all you can do is just hit that like and hit that subscribe, please and thank you. Much appreciated, guys. So hit that like and subscribe. Obi, I'm in this BA trade. We'll look at this BA trade before we dive back into the lesson for a couple of minutes, my friend. But as you can see, we're slowly taking some pieces out. So Elon, in the chat, you know I shorted that for a specific reason. So we're gonna be out about 90% of this position shortly. I took a little bit more off because I am going to dive right back in to the lesson of the day for you guys, because it is introduction to options. And there goes BA a little bit more, so we're gonna hold off a little bit more, and boom, we're gonna be all out here shortly. Yeah, boom. Okay, yeah, we're all out. We'll go over the BA trade. Elon, I said, you know you wouldn't, but hey, we picked that top really nicely and got that trade. But guys, let's dive into this lesson a little bit more because there's a lot to go through and we want to finish this off quick, all right? So exercise and assignment. So when you have the rights to a contract, that's when you exercise that contract, all right? So when you exercise an option, this implies you bought a call or a put that gives you the right to allocate the underlying asset at your fixed strike price, okay? Either when this is in the money, all right? So an obligation is when you short options, all right? And when you have an obligation, this is when you risk assignment. So being assigned on your short option position, that implies you sold a call or a put and the option expired more than 0.01 cents in the money. This requires you to return X amount of shares or X from the amount of contracts you bought to the opposite party. So the person who was long those options, they paid you to hold on to those options when you shorted it, and then now you have to return that money at more value when you get assigned. And wow, Boeing is absolutely tanking to the downside. We punched out of there a little bit early, but that's okay. We'll talk a little bit more about that shortly, because I don't know why that did that. So, all right, guys. So, example. Stock XYZ is trading at 200 and you bought the 190 call. You have the right to exercise your call option and allocate stock XYZ at $190 when it's trading at $200, all right? So that's an example of exercising. So stock XYZ is trading at $150 at the time of expiry and you sold the 140 call. You are now obligated to sell those shares to the opposite party at a price of $150, all right? So you lost on that one. You rarely have to exercise your options just before the close. Just close the position before expiry so you don't have to exercise those positions, all right? You want to close those. You don't want to own those shares outright, guys, all right? So to avoid assignment as well, the exact same thing. To avoid assignment, close the position before it expires in the money, okay? So now we're gonna get onto some fancy terms, intrinsic and extrinsic value. These are really important. And Hal R, I mentioned this to Hal R earlier in the day. He asked me what I would buy if I'm going long options, and this is what we'll get into a little bit. So the true value of trading options come from being able to trade shares at the option strike price, not what is currently trading at, okay? So keep that in mind. This is where intrinsic and extrinsic value come into play. So intrinsic value is equals when you buy an options contract for $5, the same contract is now trading at $15. The contract has $10 of intrinsic value. It's that simple. We're not going to complicate it. Simple maths, all right? So moving forward, extrinsic value equals time value. I always talk about time value. If you buy the $100 call for $2 and the underlying is trading at $100, this contract is only $200, only has $200 of extrinsic value and holds no intrinsic value, okay? So that's all it is. All this has is time value when you buy at the money or out the money. It's the anticipation that the contract and the underlying asset will appreciate and put that moneyness where you have intrinsic value and that you are in the money on those contracts as well too, all right? So calculating intrinsic value, simple. Option strike price minus current market price equals intrinsic value. Calculating extrinsic value. Market price minus intrinsic value equals extrinsic value. So write these calculations down, even though you don't need to know them. When you look at the contract, you'll know automatically, like, hey, this only holds extrinsic value, or hey, this has some intrinsic value too because it is in the money, all right? So putting it all together, guys, we're almost done. Calls and puts are a versatile tool that require less capital. That's why people like to trade them. You don't need to exercise your options, close before possibility of assignment, all right? Or they exercise as well, as I mentioned, and extrinsic and intrinsic value give options their value, all right? So that's the lesson of the day. Hopefully you guys learned something on that. And guys, I got out of Boeing way too early. If we can pull up my chart, yeah, that's why I shorted it. We double topped here, so I took that short on BA and I got out a little bit too early. But guys, if you have any questions about options, put them in the chat. Make sure you throw them in the chat, tag me in them so we can know. But Obi, what are you cooking up over there, my friend?
Nothing much, man. I'm continuing to watch these markets are taking a little bit of a pullback, but I want to go back to your trade there. That's a solid entry there.
Yep.
And yeah, it seems like you covered a little too aggressively too fast. So I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What is your reason to buy there? What is your reason to cover?
To cover those?
Yes.
Because I thought we were going to bounce. You see this little pivot here that formed
Because
this
you
double
thought we
top?
were going to bounce.
Yeah, I thought. So the anticipation is wrong. I know I was wrong. I thought we were going to bounce. We did not. We continued to sell, especially when I had more conviction and confirmation, Obi, on this double top after we failed to make a new high here, my friend.
So if you were to take that trade again, what would you do? What would you change differently about those outs?
I would not take as many outs.
Okay, so in terms of you're saying you anticipated the bounce, that's why you got out.
Yep.
So what do you want to see for you to actually get out? What would the bounce look like to you?
So what I would want to see is a test, a little bit of strong, some tape action, a lot of orders hitting the ask, and then volume stepping in, which I thought it was here and here. So I'm like, okay, let's see if we test this high again, which I thought it was going to do, but instead it just capitulated and moved to the downside.
Did it ever break prior bar high?
Did it ever break prior bar high? No, it did not. So that's a very good point. Hey.
It's something to consider.
Very much something to consider. Yeah. So there you go. Now I can make that trade much better than what it is.
It's a clean entry. You had the entry that was solid.
We had the entry because you're a virgin man, so you know that we like those type of entries.
Of course.
So, all right, we're going to come back. We're going to talk some more analysis. We're going to dive into our trades and why we did what with me and Obi, but we're going to go right to Adara first.
Yes, sir.
Tesla just had a drop here with a bit of an increase in volume. It's our largest volume candle basically since that morning session. I'm seeing this tweet here on Twitter. This is what I'm seeing, and I'm going to quote this tweet. A little birdie told us that Tesla has definitely scrapped its $25,000 EV and replaced it with a robotaxi. Citing TC. I was not able to find out who or what TC is, but either way, this headline circulating here, getting some views, so just be aware here. TSLA, according to this very unsubstantiated Twitter quote, could be scrapping its $25,000 EV to get a bit of a volume spike to the downside on that tweet. If I see anything else on this, including who started this rumor, I will let you know.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
Doing a good job on the likes, though. What were we at? 400 and something? Now at 667 with 3,500 of you guys watching. Come on, let's get that to 1,000, guys. We need 1,000 likes. That's 1/3, a little bit less than what people are watching. So come on, keep on hitting that like and subscribe, my friend. What are you cooking up? What trades do you got going on?
I got no trades on the board as of right now. I am observing this market take a little bit of a pullback there. Again, I think Boeing was a great trade to take on that pullback there. I'm watching some of these other names as well. Apple finally taking a bit of a breather, so I have that on watch. We did break this short-term trend there, this trend that we had off of the break of this opening range high. Wow, what an open on Apple. I'm just noticing that's a 3-minute candle right here. The first 3-minute candle, oh boy, look at that range. The low at 224 halves, and the high at 226 halves. So a 2-point range on the first initial candle on Apple. That is aggressive. That's an aggressive bid. And then we stepped up on top of it. So opening range highs, again, sitting at that 226 halves. So let's see. We're only about 40 pennies away from that 226 halves. So if we are to pull back, is that bid going to catch at 226 halves? Has that resistance now turned into support? We will only find out if and when price gets back there. Market's on a little bit of a pullback. I have nothing else really on watch other than Tesla. Take a look at Tesla. Tesla did not break that 300. I'm sure there were a lot of players building into this for that anticipation for that 300. And take a look at this nice little grindy trend. That's absolutely beautiful. It's not very often that your trend line fits so nicely on choppy price action, right? But look at this, choppy price action, but those lows are incrementally higher. Sure, you have a little bit of a violation with a little bit of some wicks there, but overall, a nice steady grind up, choppy on the upside, but that support coming in very, very clean. And look at what happens as soon as that support breaks. That volume expansion coming in on the breakdown of that 228 area there, and a failure to follow through in towards that 229. That 229 definitely failed. I'm curious to know what the tape looked like on this push up, on this bid up into 299s, and the break of this right here, break of trend, that selling coming in very aggressively. And what did I say? I said that 226 area could be somewhere to watch the ticker as we started that consolidation base off of those 296s, my apologies, 296s, and that's where we catch a little bit of a bid. Sure, we dip all the way down to 295s and 33s. That might be a little bit of stop, a lick grab action there, stops getting taken out, and some aggressive selling maybe potentially coming in from players who are getting short on the break of that consolidation low as well. We're catching a little bit of a bid off of said level. Let's see what Tesla does going forward. Market's taking a little bit of a pullback, both off the 6,000 on the ES and the 21,200 on the NASDAQ here. I'm looking for other tickers that might be breaking their trend. IONQ not really doing any of that as of right now. That consolidation on 22 is hella strong. So again, don't want to be shorting a ticker or looking for that reversion on the ticker that's not really showing me what I'm looking for, right? Same thing happened here on Google. Google, I did get involved initially, but we go sideways for long enough. I'm timing out of the trade, being like, all right, well, the market's super strong. We're holding and consolidating underneath that 21,200. We're holding and consolidating as price floats above VWAP, floats over almost a point above VWAP. Now, I don't know how much percent ATR it's floating above VWAP, but let's take a quick look at that as Google's. Let me just quickly type like that. That's Google. Google's ATR is 3.94, so almost a 4-point ATR. So, but it's floating about a quarter ATR above its VWAP and consolidating sideways near that 180 high a day. So I don't necessarily want to stay involved with that one. And we'll I think the decision can be made above 180 or maybe below this 179.20 as of right now on the goggles there. But nothing else happening. ARM holding as well. TSM holding as well. Well, ARM had earnings. Intel holding its highs as well. SMCI with a little bit of a pullback. So let's take a look at that one real quick. See what SMCI has been up to right there as well. So SMCI, they had earnings yesterday or prior day yesterday, Tuesday evening. Day one was yesterday as it traded pretty much sideways, closing near its high of day there on SMCI. We get a bit of continuation with a VWAP hold coming off of the open. With that 25, remember that size getting taken out at that 25, about 2,000 lots. We can only get about 45 pennies above that 25 break when that comes in. Look at this aggressive selling coming in on the break of this 25, break back below this 25, and that selling coming in all the way down to VWAP right there. Only about 30 pennies away from VWAP is SMCI as of right now, with the market looking to take a bit of a breather. But I got nothing else going on. So let me know in the chat what you guys are up to. And yes, Bizwaj Ipta saying Uncle Powell is coming. Yeah, in about 45 minutes, in about 40 minutes. So again, we're consolidating sideways as the reversion man is, sorry? 150. All right,
there you
so
go.
you're going to have Sean and Neil coming on at 150, bringing you that FOMC report. And don't forget, the reversion man cometh at 2:30 as well. So we're going to be watching that. Some aggressive, strong action in the morning session.
Whoa,
The question is,
whoa, who was that? Hello. Oh, what are you doing, JP? What are you doing? What is he doing? 25?
sorry, that's classified information.
Oh,
All right,
so he
so-
has the insider. 20. Okay, so let me ask you this, Obi.
Yes.
What do you think our guy JP is going to do? Pause, cut, or what?
I don't know.
But
Nor do I care.
No, okay, I know you don't care, but
Because
what are
I'm
you
just going to
pick?
play off whatever
Okay,
the
you don't
price
care. All right,
action does.
anyways, I'm going with a
literally
pause.
do
I'm
not
going with a
want
pause.
to anchor to a buy.
I'm going with a pause.
That's
It doesn't. I'm not holding any bias. I'm going with a pause. All right. So guys, good luck there. 750 likes. We're almost there. 250 away. Grandma, I know you're watching. Hit that like, please, and thank you. We're gonna need that one for the guys because who knows? At 1,000 likes, Obi, who knows what's gonna happen? Maybe you're still gonna be on the afternoon show, regardless. 1,000 likes. So 1,000 likes. Obi's on the show. 3,500 watching. Come on, let's get to 1,000 likes, guys. Much need to continue.
The
your
chat shouting
assault
out my phone cover. Yeah, I got.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I like my favorite color combination is red and black. That's all. That's what I got going on.
What is that? A Samsung?
Why do you seem so disgusted?
Yeah,
Dude, what is that?
okay.
A Samsung? What do you got? Apple?
Yeah, I do
Come on.
actually.
The only thing of
Yeah,
Apple I
get some
have
now, man.
is the stock.
Yeah, you said
The only thing I have from Apple is the stock. You gotta. We were talking about this. Shout out to Wayne again. He was like, you got to get long cults, and Apple is definitely a cult. Some of the best longs in history have been.
Yeah,
cults,
so why don't you join the super cycle, upgrade to an iPhone 16,
Yeah, I don't-
and then add a little
Sorry,
to the.
I don't do that.
No, all right.
I don't want.
What is that? A Google phone though, for real, or?
No, it's a S21 Ultra.
I'm sorry, I don't even know what that is. But okay. I don't even know what that is.
I mean,
but
well,
okay,
things are making sense.
Things are making sense there. Guys, good times.
What is that?
Yeah, 800
Have you seen
likes.
the Samsung chart?
No. What is that, a Motorola? Yeah. What is that, a flip phone?
It's a
buddy?
flip phone?
Is it a calculator?
Listen, here's the thing. I do a lot of charting. I do a lot of charting on my phone.
Yeah.
I look at charts. I like a nice big screen.
Listen, if you were to turn those around and say
processor.
which one is Obi's phone, you wouldn't know. Which one is Obi's phone, you don't know.
Maybe the one
It's
with
same
all the
thing.
cameras.
I'm going with the gray one. So, yeah, sure. There you go.
Look at that.
Like, yeah, okay. Galaxy, whatever he said there. We don't know what that is. So, anyways, back to reality. Enough of making fun of Obi's phone there. So, we're having a good time, guys. Absolutely. Yeah, the typewriter, they say. That's pretty much what it is. So, yeah, good stuff there, my friend. Sorry, continue what you were going on.
At least my products don't have planned obsolescence. So, that's something I definitely don't.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. They all have planned obsolescence.
Yeah. Anyways.
What's
Yeah. See, look, there we go.
look at
Here,
that,
text
yeah.
it. Obi's phone.
what that reminds me? That reminds me of the BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Like remember the Black?
Yeah, the
exactly.
Yeah.
That's Fabian's old phone right there.
Oh boy. Yeah, someone said, oh boy. You're in trouble. Oh boy. With the phone. The ancient phone. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good stuff, guys.
We got the Casio 6G Ultra.
Yeah, bro. Whatever that means, man.
Android, I think, is, again, I might be a little bit of a fanboy, but you know what? I found more, I guess, more leniency and customizability with my Samsung. I like to be a free man and not be really, wear a collar with some of these Apple products and being kind of locked into their ecosystem. I don't do that. Again, PCMR. That's my I guess opinion. And these are definitely little PCs.
Yeah, pocket calculators.
Yeah.
Definitely a good way to go on that one there, my friend. Yeah, good times here. Guess what, Obi? Yeah, those that JP. Yeah, get Obi in on the conference call there with the calculator. Yeah. So, anyways, IBIT going to press for the higher day. We have.
Yes, recovery.
Bitcoin.
I like that.
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Ramin, what was that? What was that, Ramin?
How come I didn't hear that one there?
Oh, she had the key.
Oh, the keyboard. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Ram, did the iPhone 16 come in yet? Do you have it or what?
Oh, boy.
Your birthday was in like mid-October. What are you talking about? 2 weeks. Yeah, exactly. So you should have that a long time ago. Maybe Apple needs to get on the Samsung delivery speed, and then we can take it from there. So, yeah, my phone has. Yeah, we'll leave it on that. But guys, Bitcoin trading around 76,000 right now. Trading higher. So is iBit. So we're just gonna look. I missed that train on iBit, and BA is starting to slowly pull back, but we missed a good move on that one as well too. We have the Fed coming up in just a little over half an hour, 46 minutes to be exact. So we'll keep an eye on that. With the overall market trading at 1.35%, that's the Qs, and SPY up only 0.64% on the session, while everybody else is trading higher. What do you got going on there, my guy?
Nothing. All that Apple talk has me interested in what Apple is doing right now. So I did pull up the ticker here. Again, holding underneath that 227, pretty much sideways as of right now. So Apple looking a little lackluster there in terms of price action. So we'll see if it can hold some of these highs there. But the thing is, the Nasdaq is hella strong as of right now. So some of these tickers may be poised to make some more highs into the close. I have no idea, but Apple definitely near its highs, and I do have some alerts here. So what are we trading against here on Apple? Okay, some prior earnings. Okay, oh boy, all right, I like that. Let's take a look at this chart right here and see where price is at relative to that earnings reaction we had a couple weeks ago. Last week. You can see here, Thursday was October 31st. In the evening, Apple reported. You can see I have all these anchors on, higher time frame anchors coming in to some of these more recent prices here. But what I do have right here is the anchored from the current earnings. And look at that. We consolidate below, we consolidate above, and now we're holding that, breaking prior day's highs as well, pushing to the upside. And yes, somebody in the chat was like, yes, the only thing I like about Apple is the stock, and that is very much correct. I think that's the best thing they have kind of going for them there is the stock, and the stock is absolutely solid. Great company, regardless, right? You have a solid following. They make good money, and they come out with a product every 2 weeks, and their customers continue to buy their fresh products as well. So solid business model there. I do like the stock. What's going on, Adara?
Cellularity halted right now, so not happening as of right now, but Cellularity to the upside here by about 161%. This seems like a random volume spike here. 5 million shares in this last 15-minute candle this morning. So around 8 a.m., they announced their earnings here, or announced that they're raising their guidance anyhow for fiscal 2024. Now seeing sales between 54 to 60 million versus the previous guidance of 50 million to 60 million. This isn't even a particularly small market cap, around $83 million market cap, float of around 11 million shares. 6.35% of that is going to be sold short, guys. CELU.
Thank you, Adara. That CELU halted up there, so it could be interesting. Let's see what happens with that one when it opens back up. I'm not really seeing too much else. We were talking about that Apple. Apple was kind of again. That was the candle open off of the earnings reaction right here. That's the price. Look at that. That's the earnings reaction candle right here. This is what we're looking at. The open of this candle is at 227.40, and guess what the high of today is? 227.49. So we're holding some of those reference levels from earnings as of right now. We've held that anchored VWAP as well as support in the pre-market session. Not only in the pre-market session, that bid shows up for the past prior 2 days there as it consolidates above that anchored. And look at that opening drive, that buying pressure really coming in and showing itself off of a strong dip into prior day's consolidation lows there yesterday coming in, and that pre-market, that bid coming in once again, now breaking into prior day's high as well. Again, yesterday was elections day one in the market, and we saw a lot of these tickers were strong off of the open there and even in the pre-market, but Apple did not do much. Apple traded sideways, looking again a little lackluster relative to the rest of the tech names there, but it's catching some of that bid coming in today on Apple. So let's see if we can break some of those highs there. 227.40s was that opening, that candle open. Today's day high is 227.49. So let's wait and watch for that to come in. Let me know in the chat, guys, what are you guys trading? Again, look at that strong pullback on the ES. What are some of these tickers that you are trading? Is there anything taking a little bit of a pullback? And while you guys do that, I'm going to run through what the volume leaders of the day today have been doing. So let's take a quick run through that. Some of these tickers, sure, we've already covered. NVIDIA trading sideways in its in the upper part of its range. PLTR, we were watching this one here. Let me throw that VWAP on there. We watched that reversion to VWAP right there. Sean was in this trade, I think, earlier on in the day. That reversion to VWAP, absolutely solid on Palantir. Doing some significant volume, coming in at 79 million shares traded, a little over 79 million. Tesla as well. Oh boy, that 300 failure to follow through. 299.75s are the high on Tesla. Aggressive pullback back into that 296 area we were talking about being that consolidation low. Potential area to look for that support as it was there coming off of the open there. SMCI as well. SMCI, oh boy, we pulled back into 24 halves, but we're reclaiming that 25 level here. DJT, oh boy, that is a beautiful backside. Look at that. Nice little flush off of elections day one. We ran up coming into it. We ran up for, what did I say, almost 4 or 5 weeks consistently coming up into this. And then we've been having a bit of a sell-off right here. You can see I already have my trend lines here. That clean sell-off right there. Trend, when that trend breaks, we get a little bit of that squeezy action there, and we get that lower high at that 55 mark for a continuation to the back down to some of these supports here. Day low sitting at 27.90 here on DJT. So lift as well. We traded this in the morning session. Absolutely beautiful continuation of that double beat on earnings right there, pushing past those pre-market highs and earnings reaction highs. Can't really get to 19. I thought this was going to get through 19. 1882 is the high of day on lift, and catching a little bit of a sell-off there coming in to the closing session as of right now. IONQ, no reversion just yet. We were looking for that pullback on this, but sideways chop as that bid dissipates on IONQ. So that trade was solid off of the open, but nothing crazy as of right now as it chops sideways. Intel sideways. Warner Brothers, they had earnings today as well. I forgot about this one. That opening drive does come in, but I don't know. RR is a bit skewed for me there. Let's take a look at it on the 3-minute. Okay, maybe a little bit better on the 3-minute for that VWAP hold and push. Now that's all I'm going to go through. Some of these other tickers a little bit dwindling in terms of volume right there. You can see nothing too crazy. Mara is a low holding VWAP, interestingly enough. What's up, Adara?
Right now here we have the weekly chart for the DXY ahead of what should be a very interesting FOMC meeting. This is the second FOMC meeting since in our rate cutting cycle. The first, of course, was in September where we actually got that kind of surprising 50 basis point cut. Now I want to pull up this weekly chart because it's pretty interesting here. We had 4 straight weeks of strong upside starting in October. Then last week we could have a bit of a doji candle. Another doji candle here. This one a bit more intense though on this weekly chart, going as high as 105.40 thanks to that push yesterday, and as low as 103.40. So we've got about a 2-point range here on that DXY on the week as we head into an expected 25 basis point cut. We're seeing some differences here in the odds. I mentioned earlier last week at one point there was 100% odds on the CME Fed Watch tool, 100% chance people pricing in there of a 25 basis point cut. Since then, it's widened. At one point today, we were closer to 98%. Earlier today, we were closer to 97%. Right now, 97.6% of traders, according to the Fed Watch tool, seeing a 25 basis point cut, 2.4% seeing a 50 basis point cut. So that 25 basis point cut is almost definitely priced in. But we never know what Fed Chair Jerome Powell will say during that press conference in just 1 hour, guys. So stay tuned. We'll have the afternoon show kicking off at 1:50 p.m., where we'll see Sean and Neil react live to that exciting FOMC meeting, guys. Back to you.
Beautiful stuff. Good stuff as always. Dara, VRO trades. Joe, please check PLTR. I'm stuck with 56 calls, end of the week expiration. So I pulled up my chart just for you, my friend. Yeah, it's tough. You don't got too much time there. I don't know what you paid for those contracts. Were they in the money, out the money? A little more detail would be good. But as for 56, I'm not going to roll it out. But again, your break even, if your strike is at 56 and you have a break even at, like, say, 57 or 56 halves, you're going to need this thing to close above 56 halves or 57s in order to be profitable. So yeah, you're going to need it to close above 56 significantly. And if the time value has already been diminished, then you're going to need even a larger move in Palantir. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing were to gap up overnight and then you get that open above the current highs now, which is sitting around 56.60s. But again, if you have the 56 calls, I don't know how many you have. You're going to need that to exceed that and then a little bit more. So you're going to need to look at like 58s or 60s, all right, for that play there, guys. So good luck on that one. I mean, VRO trades, I wish you all the best luck on that one. So that's that one. So no worries, bro. Your option will hit. Yeah, exactly. So stay confident, stay positive. This thing is extremely strong, so I have no doubt in my mind that the possibility is there. You're in the strength, so it won't take much of a gap up. And then you don't know what's going to happen, especially with 2 o'clock just on the horizon, that you could get a little bit pump and then maybe you exceed that price. But what just made new highs and then absolutely rejected is IBIT. I'm really feeling the FOMO on this one, or the ROMO on this one, the reality of missing out on this one, because we just went and breached 43.75 on this trade. So that's unfortunate that we missed this. But again, we'll just wait and see, because I do think we're going to continue on that one as well. Aku, the Explorer Joe, can he roll his position to buy more time? You can obviously buy more time, but as for expiration, they're expired on Friday, so you can roll that position. But those are net debits, so essentially you're going to lose the value of that. You can always open up more contracts, but unfortunately, with that expiration cycle, he can't just buy more time onto those ones. He would have to open up a new expiration cycle. One thing that he can do, and I'm not suggesting this to you, I don't know how many calls you have, but if you do feel that you're going to take a loss on Palantir, you can sell some calls against that position with your strike being 57. You can see what the 60s are paying, or the 63s. That way, if the underlying asset does continue to move higher, then you'll be able to do yourself like a debit spread sort of, all right? So keep that in mind. You can sell some calls, but again, you're gonna need a lot of movement. You can sell calls to mitigate and then also do a debit spread on that. But guys, we're gonna send it off to Obi.
Yes, sir. So again, we got an IRE going on. eSignal, trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite trading experience. Analyze, strategize, and capitalize. Foresee profitable opportunities with the platform you need. Infinite data, instant trading. Know where the market is moving before others with lightning fast data. Better backtesting and scanning, and predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable, real-time data, up to the second market information from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need all in one place, and don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description, guys. eSignal.
eSignal.
All right. So again, market's taking a little bit of a pullback. I was observing the ES with a bit of an aggressive pullback right there. Again, we failed to follow through that 6,000. The trend has broken on ES, and I guess IONQ still wants to consolidate sideways on 22s there. So that's perfectly fine. Something I'm noticing as well is SMCI is pushing back towards its highs there, only about 20 pennies above its high. So SMCI is hella strong on earnings day 2 as of right now. Yeah, let's take a quick look at what you guys are talking about. Do you see Triple M as a good short? Is asking Rated V in the chat. So let's take a quick look at Triple M. Oh boy. All right. So sideways consolidation as of right now, man. So I don't know about that. Again, we got FOMC coming up in less than 20 minutes here, or in about 20 minutes here at 2 o'clock, and then Fed Pow coming in at 2:30 for the speech. So that's something I want to be waiting for before taking any more decisions here. But if you're asking, is it looking good for a short? I have no idea, dude. But the selling off of earnings came in pretty aggressively, is what the chart is showing right there. Look at that pop and drop. No real follow through. Wipes that earnings reaction right there. So did it pull back off of? You know what? I want to go to the weekly on this one real quick to see what we pulled back off of. Oh boy. All right. So we attempted to push some of these highs in through that 140. We can't really get there. earnings high at that 143, and then we flush coming off into the open. Now, earnings happen on October 22nd. We've only been trading sideways from there. So from the information that that the chart is showing us, the earnings reaction was not taken. The earnings was not taken quite well as it aggressively sold off and then traded even lower coming off of that. There, we have tried to reclaim some of those highs right there, but that earnings day one high, consolidation high, you can see right here from the action on day one. Again, doing the most relative volume as well, is sitting at 135. We are trading below that 135 with the high of day at 134.78 right now on Triple M. I don't know. Could be a sticky situation for this one if you get caught offside either way for Triple M there on that one there. So let's go Tesla, the gift that keeps on giving, saying hog rider. So let's take a look at what TSLA is up to. Oh boy. All right. So we're holding that 296 as of right now. Let's go to a 3-minute chart right there. Beautiful, beautiful trend here, Joe. Look at that. Absolutely clean. We break that clean break of that trend. Now we're just consolidating chip chop sideways as Tesla potentially charging up for that 300 breakout.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful stuff. Obi, 852 likes, 3,600 people.
Come on.
150 more likes. If you guys had any fun with us today, all we're doing is just for you to like and subscribe. That's it. We're not asking much. We're not asking for much. Just click the button. Click the button there. 853 likes. Let's hit that 4 figures. That 1,000 likes. That's what we want to see. It's less than a third of you guys. So come on, give us that 1,000, and then who knows? Maybe Sharif and I do a push-up competition. No, I'm not going to volunteer, Sharif. I'm only joking. Yeah, I don't want any of that smoke, to be honest with you, at all.
How many push-ups can you do in a row?
I don't know. I haven't counted in a long time, but I would be in trouble against Sharif, so that's not something that I would want to take on. But hey, 1,000 likes, 923, just like that. They want to see the push-up competition between Sharif and I. Sorry, my friend, for volunteering you for that, but that might be an easy, easy W for you. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Obi, BA, VWAP.
Do you even lift, bro?
Do I even? Ooh, ow,
I'm joking.
man.
Ow. I know you hit the gym.
Yeah, we're in the gym, man. We're in the gym.
Yeah,
we got a big hockey game tonight too at 6:30.
Nice.
So we're looking forward to that one. Yeah, we got a hockey game. Maybe we go to the gym after. Look, 990 likes. The people want to see what the people want to see. It's at 1,000. 1K likes. Let's go. 1,000 likes for your boy Joe and Obi with iBit making new highs. So thank you guys so much. That's absolutely fantastic. Hopefully you guys had a good time with us today, because in 9 minutes, we're going to send it off to Neil and Sean for the interest rate decision, which is absolutely going to send some volatility throughout the markets.
Oh boy.
And we're going to look to make some plays. I know Obi's looking to do something very specific. Yeah, and then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Obi's plan to have a big trade after JP stops talking. He's going to wait for JP to come on around 2:30 after the decision is made, and then we're going to be looking at Bitcoin as well too, because it's going to have it will be impacted by the decision as well too. But Obi, why don't you run them down on what your potential thesis is coming up?
I mean, I guess, I don't know. I'm looking for potential. He is the reversion man. I'll be looking for a potential reversion. We're strong on the day. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm going to wait for price action to show itself and see if that action and the tape kind of dictates for that idea. I have no idea. Big trade. I'm not really anticipating anything too crazy. If it shows up, it shows up, and let's see how we perform on that. That's all I really got planned. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Maybe we'll look at the TQs as well if the market moves heavy, or if if one of the constituents, larger caps, is poised for a little bit of some beta action as well. Maybe one of them is setting up a little bit better. We'll see. I have no idea. Mm-hmm. But you were talking about Boeing a little bit earlier. Yeah, Boeing right here is pulling right back into VWAP. So we were talking about this, and I told you, I was like, as well. I was like, yo, there's no reason to. I mean, where's the reason to buy there for your short? You had a solid short trade there on Boeing, and it comes right into VWAP. And I was like, all right, well, where have the buyers really showed themselves since the open? It's at VWAP. Sure, you get an extension off of VWAP, and there's definitely buyers there. but the buyers are holding that VWAP, and they show up once again in the midday session right here in and around 11 o'clock, where it holds VWAP, and again, higher low off of VWAP. We start to make a bit of a double top, lower high as well, underneath 152.50. And where do the buyers show up? I have no idea, but we're at VWAP once again. So let's see and observe if there are buyers on Boeing holding it up at VWAP, and let's see if this one can take another do another takeoff off of VWAP after landing there quite aggressively. Look at that selling coming in right back into that VWAP again. VWAP I have sitting here at 150.83. We're trading at 150.92s. So I will pull up this ticker as of right now to see if there's any sort of buying happening here on BA. So let's take a quick look. I will pull up the tape for you guys as well. BA trades on the NYSE, not the NASDAQ. Right here, let me pull up the tape on this one as well. Boom, right here. So let's see, booked a little bit thin. Look at that, one's on the bid. The ask is a little bit thicker than the bid as of right now. So we got to wait and see if any of that gets slapped around. But oh, there's a couple 10 lots there. Let's see, I'm gonna pull the book up. Oh, there it is, 128. There's Buddy right there, sitting right there on top of VWAP. We talk about, is there a VWAP buyer? 150.85. So 150.83 was VWAP. Let's see if that buyer kind of holds up the price action, or that buyer gets taken out. Does the bid get slapped, or does the buyer hold at VWAP, and we continue to push a little bit higher on this sideways consolidation that we've been doing here on BA since that morning bid starts to dissipate, and we go sideways in a very wide range, 152 halves to 150 halves here on Boeing, going sideways after that morning momentum kind of carries off here. Okay, so we got VRO trades with the super chat saying, thanks, Joe. I hope PLTR goes up. Stuck right now. Love y'all. Okay, all right. So PLTR, let's see.
Well, we told him some risk mitigation measures too that he can do if he wants to as well, selling some calls against his position. But yeah, pull it up and finish your analysis on that too, because then you get two perspectives on PLTR VRO.
Yeah,
trades.
we're just trading. So we talked about this one already. We're just trading below VWAP.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
VWAP seller has been dominant.
Well, he was saying because he has these 56 calls with a break even around 56.30. So he's like, okay, what do I do? Because he now needs PLTR to exceed 56 in order to be profitable. But the problem is time is working against him. Right?
Yes.
So that's one thing.
A little bit of a time decay.
Yeah, exactly. So time decay has been chewing it up, and the contracts expire on Friday. So it's like, what do? Do you hold on to those contracts, let them expire worthless, or do you do some risk mitigation measures by selling calls against those position OB, and that way you can reduce the cost of the debit of those initial calls, but then also leave yourself some room to be potentially profitable. But again, time is ticking. It is Thursday, and we have some hot news coming up shortly. We're going to send it off to Sean, Neil, and Brando for 150, and we'll see what happens with that, because if you get the spike VRO trades, then I think you'll be sitting pretty. But if not, if it decides to sell, you also have that second option as well too, where you can mitigate your downside and the cost of that debit by selling some positions as well too. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that's
so
that look.
I see, I'm looking at the chat here. Pranaya is asking, Obi, do you always trade on a 3-minute chart? Why? I like it. I've tried the 1 minute. 1 minute's way too choppy for me. A lot of noise. 2 minutes, great. I like the 2 minute as well, but I like a little bit more smoothness there. And the 3 minutes, 3 minute is what I've liked. Now again, there's really nothing too crazy about it. You got to trade on a frame that you're comfortable with what you like. I know people trade on the 5, the 15. I don't only trade, on a 3 minute. I can show you guys my other charts here and all the other frames that I'm consistently watching while I am attempting to day trade some of these tickers here. So look at that. Tesla. I have Tesla open up here on a 3 minute, on a 15 minute, on a 30 minute, on an hour, a daily, and a weekly. And sometimes even I will do a 30-second chart if price action gets a little bit choppy there. You can that beautiful 30-second chart as well on that. So different frames. I like to look at multi-frame perspectives there. Again, looking for participants. So here's the thing. I always talk about how trading is a PvP game, and I know that people are looking at different time frames. I want to know what's happening on multiple time frames, and if there is a confluence of price action of the chart building on multiple frames. Are we taking out the 2-minute players? Are we taking out the 5-minute players? Are we taking out the 15-minute and the 30-minute players? Are the hourly players getting involved? Or what are we doing with some of those levels as well? So I want to keep an eye on all of that to look for that confluence there. So definitely not sticking to just the 3-minute chart. I always like to look at multiple frames while I'm taking those trades there, Joe. So
Yeah, no, good luck there. You're not wrong there at all, my friend. So good analysis as always by Obi, but we are creeping in. We got 1 minute left. And guys, we hit that 3,700 people watching, 1K likes. Yep. That is absolutely fantastic. It's looking like we're getting a little bit more, and there's a lot.
We only got 10 out of 30.
Yeah, but
super chats. You got the rest of the day as well.
Ooh.
If you got those 20 more in,
20
you may
more,
or may not see me.
I think no, you're in, man. You hit that 1K like, you have to be in there.
I gotta,
yeah. You bought your way in. You bought your way in with that with those 1K. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how the reversion goes on the TQs to see if you're on the show or not, or you got sent home. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, I'll do my best to manage my risk.
Exactly. So yeah,
let's see. Don't get blown up over here.
Yeah, don't get blown up, guys. Make sure you have your stops in place. I know people are talking about options. If you're in the money or out the money, regardless, even if you're trading equities, just make sure you have your stops in place because we are anticipating a little bit of volatility here. But guys, it's 150. Yes, we're going to send it off to the big desk and the big boys over there.
Yeah.
Go get them, boys.
Take it easy, guys.
Guys, yeah, welcome in. We'll kick things off here for the afternoon a little bit early. We'll get a little bit of a feel of what the overall market reaction could possibly be going